tonight on Blue Line Confessions.
Countless heroes on that September morning when the Washington Navy Yard was just thrown into utter chaos.
But that was just me like screaming out because I didn't want to deal with it.
I knew I was addicted, and I tried to stop on my own. I could. People I deal with at work, man. When I used to see
And we are live. What is going on, Keith?
What's going on, buddy? I'm using a different computer now. I'm trying to join the chat. It's got some pop-up windows, so I'm working on it, bud. I am technological. Oh, there we go. I'm in. I'm smart.
All right. So yeah, let me just start out though by real quick. Welcome everyone to the Keith and Loomis series that we do every week. Now we changed it to Wednesdays. It is not Thursdays. It'll be Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern as of right now, every Wednesday, every week like clockwork. And it's chat friendly. We always love to have the chat, though, come in and talk. And tonight's episode is definitely interesting because we have actual real footage of Keith doing some UC undercover work. And we're going to go back and forth with that. We're going to talk to everyone. Hit that like button to get this moving. Subscribe to the content. And let's say hello to a couple people real quick, Keith. Susan, how are you? I'm here early. Looking forward to tonight's episode. Thank you, Susan. Keith, could you see the comments now, too?
Yeah, man, I'm in. I got
You're
it.
in? Perfect aggressive. Hey, buddy, how are you, my friend? Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Maddie, there he is. What's up, my man? Great to see you. Great to see you. And you definitely got to plan something, though, to come in. And then, oh, that's you, Keith, on the private chat there. I was just like saying what's up. So, everyone, Annette, how are you? Great to see you. So, everyone in the chat, obviously, when me and Keith are talking, keep it going. Like, ask questions, ask anything that you want. We're going to, tonight's episode again is Blue Line Confessions Undercover. And I want to start it off, though, Keith, with what made you want to, though, at the time, though, do some UC work? Because I know you're good at it, because just from talking to you, like,
I always just found it interesting, man. I think it's, it's the ultimate adrenaline rush, really. I just wanted to see if I could do it because, in my head, I thought I'd be good at it, but, so I wanted to give it a shot, but, I don't know. I guess it was just that's like the ultimate cat and mouse game. You know what I mean? If you can convince people, that you're somebody you're not, it was just very interesting to me. I just found it interesting to want to try to do that. So, I was lucky I had the good opportunity to do it. And, I did a lot. I did some in-person stuff. I did a lot of online stuff, but it was fun. Yep.
And right here, we're looking at the actual footage of this gentleman here was a neo-Nazi who wanted to take out people just because of the color of their skin. And how long of a relationship? How long did you have to build a relationship with him, Keith?
A few months, but if you look at the takedown right there, Adrian, he was a Secret Service guy. He's the one African-American gentleman on our squad. So just to stick it to him a little bit more, we let him go, put the handcuffs on him and search him. just to give them a little rib shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because just going after someone just for the color of their skin and all that type of stuff is just ridiculous. So I mean, but you did say, which we're going to get into, and I think that's like the most, even though no matter what they do or whatever you do, you feel a little bit. I remember Donnie Brasco. I don't think he really felt, but he was like, but he did say, he's like, yeah, I was in their house eating and stuff like that and doing this. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is though your job. And yeah.
And so I never did any really long-term ones. There's some amazing people that did some of those. I just never had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
But listen to that. I forget his name, man. I was listening to a podcast with him on the other day. It was the ATF guy that infiltrated the Hells Angels, man. And yeah, I mean, he says the same thing, man. He was like, there are some good dudes. There are some good guys in there, but I think he was in there for 2 years, maybe 18 months, 2 years. That's a long ass time. But yeah, I mean, you get to see the human side of them and not just the criminal side of them. So,
well, here's the clip of you explaining from the show. If you guys didn't see it, Fighting Crime and Demons, check it out. Here's a clip of Keith talking about this takedown. He was like a neo-Nazi type.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're sitting in a restaurant, man, and I'm nervous. This is like my first takedown day. I got undercover. I need a couple guys to go to Hooters and have lunch and just watch my back. Half of Hooters was FBI. They're like, we'll go. You had no problem with people volunteering to go to Hooters for their work day, but it was but you could drink, you just couldn't get messed up. So, but the takedown day I couldn't, because if all hell broke loose, I need to have the right kind of mind. So I remember he came and sat down, and I was eating an appetizer and had a sweet tea, and he was like, oh, what do you have? I was like, man, I'm not that hungry. He's like, yeah, me either. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're about to eat bologna sandwiches, man. I said, no, we got time. I said, just get that big burger, man. He did. He got a big burger and some, I don't know, frou-frou frozen drink or something. But yeah, it was. So I got arrested too. So as he's getting arrested, as he's going back to his car with the gun, I get ripped out of my car and I get arrested as well. But I remember, he's staring at me and I'm staring at him, and it was kind of like a guilty feeling, man. It was something I wasn't anticipating, because he's a bad dude that needs to go to jail. He's going to kill people, and he's going to kill people based on their race, and that's absolutely horrible. I've never been one to befriend you and then fuck you over. That's just not in my DNA.
But getting a neo-Nazi though off the street like that who's going to kill people. Oh, what was it though that really though affected your mind? So, neo-Nazi, though that he's going to be taking out people just because of the color of their skin, which is ridiculous. Which is ridiculous, and even the little clips of American History X. If you watch that movie, Edward, it's been out forever. Spoiler alert. But I mean, he realizes it's all bullshit and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But you still though had a battle, because if you saw in the song, you see him look back at you and look, that it affected you a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean it did. So I guess he was looking back to see if I got arrested. Well, he was looking back to see if I got arrested too. But yeah, it was an immediate guilty feeling that I got over pretty quick, but I just wasn't anticipating that kind of emotion on takedown day. So
and then we even have the clips though here though. I'll show two of them when he's actually doing some transactions with you.
What the hell did I do? There she is, pal. So here's some parts. I replaced that bolt carriage, some other little parts. So whatever's in there is, I got from the shop. So it's pretty much seasoned. You didn't get it from me. I don't think you will. This is the part that's a little bit tight that you just gotta. So the top is safe. Mm-hmm. The middle right there, that middle notch at the top right now, it's full.
And that's far.
Semi. So nobody. I mean, unless somebody really inspects this bitch, you're not gonna know it's modified.
Fuck no.
So you're down, man. You're good to go. I mean, you can tell.
But you got to put some fucking.
You can tell, when you hold the trigger down. If you look right here.
Yeah.
If you look in here, you can see the hammer. I'm holding the trigger down. You can see the hammer just keep coming back up. Mm-hmm. Keep coming back up. That's full.
Versus put it on.
Put it on that.
Hammer stays moving.
Yep. See how it comes back that way. So that's.
Now I'll show though more of that. Now, I forget what you said. He thought that what was coming, like the whole, like a war.
Yeah.
Or what?
They call it Rahowa, the racial holy war. So they've been talking about it for decades and decades. But the racial holy war is, when all the pure white people will line up on one side and everybody else lines up on the other side, and then like a new civil war just based on race.
Jesus.
Yeah,
And
they believe it. I mean, they believe it's coming. The weird part about the domestic terrorism investigations is like you have your white supremacists, but you also have like your black separatists, and they've actually met together. We had some intelligence where we met, and they actually have the country divided in spots. Like the white people are allowed to have like the southern east, and the blacks wanted all of the West Coast, and then everybody else can be in like the northern part. It's really weird, man. But there are definitely these groups out there, and they've gotten a little bit stronger in the past couple of years. To be honest with you, domestic terrorism is definitely on the rise, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. I don't think, with all like the hatred divide that's put out there by the media, it's only going to get worse, I think.
Yeah, and this is back in 2012. The interesting thing is that he's out now, and he's kind of doesn't live far away from you, correct?
Yeah, man. He lives probably about 30 minutes away in I think Manassas, Virginia.
And you never bumped into him after or anything like that.
I have
correct?
not, thankfully. I have not. There's another one. I wasn't the undercover for this, but I ran the case, and that guy he was a Klan guy. He actually lived 2 miles from my house. But that's an interesting one we can get into later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just real quick, what's going on, CJ? History and organized crime, adorable, deplorable. How are you, Tracy? Great to see you out there in the UK. We're a little hour early today, so maybe you can hang for a bit. And Frank, love you, my man. Hope all is well. So usually, like, with UCDO work, though, you don't really want to do it, though, like, in your neighborhood, though, like, around where people, though, could easily see you. You were just, what was it more like younger you, gung-ho, just all wanted to jump into it, not all that stuff?
Yeah. So that one was, it was kind of a spur of the moment one. I was wanting to get into the UC stuff, and my partner Tom and I had the case on Doug's story, and we had an informant in on him that had been talking to him online and stuff that said he could get him the fully automatic AK-47. So it was kind of spur of the moment, man. We had like a squad meeting, and my partner Tom goes, well, Keith can just do it. And I was like, I was actually pretty hesitant, man, because he doesn't like anybody that's not white. And I'm Lebanese, dude. I can't really pass for a pure white Aryan dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we had, like, when the informant did the introduction, he just introduced me as an Italian guy. But even on like the wiretap, he said, he was like, Italian. He goes, that's only one step up from, and dropped the N-bomb.
Jesus.
And I heard that on the wiretap, and I was like, oh, this guy's going to fucking not like me at all. But then he, they went on talking. He goes, well, if you want the AK, like, you're going to have to deal with them. So he's like, I guess I just got to look at this as a business transaction. And so, yeah, I was just kind of thrown in the fire on that one, just like to see how it worked out. And it worked out okay. But
you probably had to keep reminding, like, yourself, like, you're building a rapport with this guy, but then you have to understand, like, what he's really all about. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's because I'm sure we're talking, you had laughs, this and that, and then, but going back to what the main goal of his is, I mean, I think that's where I would, like, seek the comfort in, like, not feeling bad at all. Like, as a piece of shit. Yeah.
So you had to build a rapport. So I met him at Hooters for the first time. And, I got there kind of early just to make sure I had the table I wanted and could see everything and stuff like that. But, he came in, and I had been investigating, like, white supremacy for a few years by then, so I knew all the buzzwords, and I knew like if I just threw some stuff out there, he would jump on the bait. So even being like the Italian dude, I would throw some hatred for Barack Obama, and because he was president at the time, and some other stuff out there that, yeah, he clamped onto that pretty quick.
Yeah, I just throw it on Facebook that we live. Post that up. Yeah, so for Matt has a question though here. Keith, how do you separate the UC work when you go home with your family?
Man, it's police work in general. Like everybody says, leave it at the door when you go home, but it's very hard to do that.
Yeah.
It's hard to turn it off. Now, I didn't do any long-term ones. So it wasn't as hard for me. Some of the guys that would do them for, every day for like the Donnie Brascos and every day for years and years.
6 years.
Yeah. They would literally have, have their family call them by their fake names so they didn't get confused a lot of times. And you would just go by that kind of name so you didn't slip up, or, if you're out in public with your family, and which is why you don't like to do them in your own hometown. But, if you're out with your family, or say I'm meeting with him at Hooters, and, I tell him my name's Anthony, you know what I mean? And then then Loomis comes in, who I've known for years, and you're like, Keith, what's up, motherfucker? How you been? And he's like, Keith, you know what I mean? So it,
that's what I mean about this like the same town, which is like, you know what I mean? That's gotta be, you don't know who's going to bump into you, and just, and they don't know a buddy. Like if I walked in and saw you, I'd probably be like, hey, but now that I know what your profession it is, you don't do the UC work. I would probably be like, hey, what's up? But still, I mean, you got to, and it's almost like, when actors turn into that character, like, even like a Daniel Day-Lewis, he goes home being that character. So you have to do that. Like you have to embody that when you're home, probably just so you get used to the name, whatever your fake name is, all of that type of stuff. So it's just more natural.
Yeah. But I mean, you prep that stuff in your brain too. Or at least I would. So, and that's what, a lot of some of the training comes in. But like if I was with him, my name was Anthony, and you came up to me and you're like, Keith, what's up? I would just get up and go, what's up, man? And I'd sit back down, and he'd be like, why'd he call you Keith? I'd be like, dude, I sold that guy this, that, or the other a couple months ago. I'm not going to give him my fucking real name. I didn't trust him. It's just simple. You just got to be able to kind of spin it a certain way. But it was a little nerve wracking, that especially doing it in Virginia, which I never did again.
Yeah, and I wanted a quick question. I mean, if you can, a great question, by the way, Matt. And anyone out there has questions, please ask. Even if it's not UC, any type of anything, you can ask me anything, ask Keith anything. But why though did he have to come to you? Like he couldn't find an AK like on himself? He
was on a white supremacist chat. Like he was on all these different white supremacy chat rooms. I think that's the one he was on that we found him on was called Tightrope. And all those chat rooms probably have law enforcement in them somewhere. But we wanted to get it to him before he found an actual someone from the criminal element that would, get him a real fully auto without anybody else knowing. So, we just tried to jump on it before anybody else did.
Yeah, I mean, look at him though, like walking though, like I mean, it's broad daylight. Like I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not saying that I ever did this, but if I was though to get a gun though like that, I mean, he doesn't seem like he was the smartest individual.
Yeah, Loomis, we don't catch the bright ones,
Yeah, that's like, because you know what? If let's say you're dealing like with a mob boss or like a mob captain, and you said that thing down because that just stood out to me. Oh, I just told him that my name was this. They would immediately take you for a ride. You know what I mean? Like some people wouldn't fall. The ones though that you're dealing with, that would definitely linger in their mind. Like, well, wait a minute, are you giving me your right name? What's your real name? What's because they want to know everything about but that's mob type activity. This guy was just rolling solo, right?
Yeah, he was an internet warrior that was trying to be part of we had surveillance of him. He went to like a white power rally in DC, and I think there was like 7 people there. So he didn't roll with like a big group, but you know, if you do like it, when you do like the long-term ones or like the heavy hitters, you're prepped pretty good, man. I mean, you have IDs and passports, job history, credit history, criminal history. So if they check any of that stuff, it'll usually generate like we'll jive with whatever persona you're playing.
Got it. And so how long ago would you say though that you like? So like, was there a time when you were like, I don't really want to keep doing this UC work? Like, how did you end up stop doing it?
I actually really got into the online stuff. I found it a lot more, I guess, rewarding at the time because I was Middle Eastern and knew some of the culture, and we were going after. This was, you know, the big 2015 to 2018 or 19, the ISIS days. So going after the people online that were trying to go to Iraq and Syria to fight with ISIS or do an ISIS attack within the U.S. Those I enjoy doing those a lot more.
Absolutely.
I was more comfortable doing those than like the white supremacy guys. I mean, I could only pull that shit off for fucking so long, you know?
Yeah. And they don't seem to like the brightest, you know what I mean? Like, you know, especially if you're dealing, like you said, he's rolling solo. And was there ever a moment though where where you were in a spot where someone was like questioning like your loyalty and who you are?
So online they do. So like if you would do some of the groups online, you would literally have they had like tests that they would send you, and you would have like, and it would be if you were in that group, they were easy questions, and you would have like 5 minutes, and you couldn't look it up. You couldn't Google every question. But they had like little tests like that and stuff.
I can't believe like online though. I mean, that's just so stupid, isn't it? I mean, anyone can. I mean,
they got pretty technical with the online stuff, man. They were going in places that normal people would never look. Like, it's funny, but you know, you go into YouPorn, the porn site, and you can go into like those chat rooms. Well, they would go into like YouPorn and have a chat room and not be talking about anything. They'd be talking about like terrorist stuff because they knew that most cops or feds aren't going to be logging into YouPorn at work and trying to find them. That one kids app, Roblox, they were all in Roblox playing, like talking that stuff too. So they got pretty sneaky with some of their stuff online.
Yeah, Susan says I wouldn't be a good undercover work, but I would make a good detective. You know what I always said, like with cop work, I like always like want to just skip it and try to do like, you know, detective work, like the murdering type stuff and all that stuff. Yeah. I probably would be though, like, you know, good, maybe undercover. I don't know, who knows. But yeah, I mean that's got to be tough. But like the question that Matt asked you about going home with it, just going home regularly with all your stuff. That's all right. It's not even the UC.
Yeah, no. The family takes a big brunt of it, man, and it's not intentional. It's just, you know, you're doing that shit for however many hours a day, and you come home. It's hard to turn it off, especially like when you start. I think we talked about this before, but like, you know, you come home and your kids are fighting. You start talking to them like they're criminals. It's like instead of like being the parent, it's like, you shut the fuck up and stand over there. You shut the fuck up and stand over there. And it's sometimes it's hard to turn this stuff off, especially if it happens like on a bad day or right when you walk in. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, like the percentages though, because I was looking into it ever since me and you started doing like this series, though, like the percentages of divorce and all that stuff, and taking themselves out and stuff like that is insane.
Yeah, it's like the divorce rates, I think it's up to about 80%, 75, 80%.
Yeah.
I can count on probably one hand the guys I know that are still married to their original spouse from when I met them.
anyone who's new here, Keith won't mind me saying, he was basically the guinea pig that spoke up. He went through hardcore addiction with pain pills and stuff like that, and he spoke up. And what blew my mind is that in the departments back then, they didn't have they looked down on you if you talk, because like you can't, like I always say, you can't train for like what you're gonna see and all that. So if you spoke up, they would like look down on you and all that type of stuff. And Keith actually did speak up because he had to save his life. And luckily, what's her name again? Jen
May, yeah.
Jen May, the honey badger. She, she totally understood. And then you open up the door for others. But now today, the departments are better because you would think, I understand, guys want to act tough. Don't say this or that. But I mean, at least go see someone privately, anything like that. There was just nothing, the fact that there was nothing even set up. Like, hey, that's the office to go talk to someone if, from what. And the crazy thing is, this is what stuck with me from last week. When you said that you could see something insane, let's say your shift starts at 7 a.m. You see something crazy at 9 a.m., right?
Yep.
That's all done with by 1 p.m. The roads are cleared off and everything like that. You're still doing your shift. So every time, when a cop pulls someone over and this, you don't know what they've seen right before and all that type of stuff, but yet they still have to, be professional in a way, because they can't take it out on others, but they do at times. Not mean they take it out on others, but I mean, like how you bring it home. I mean, you see someone get death notifications, all that type of stuff, and then you still have to do your shift. That boggles my mind. They don't say, hey, man, if you've seen something crazy, it's not like, hey, Keith, you want to take the rest of the day off? It's not like that.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times now, even that they've been better with it is you just don't have the manpower. You don't have the people to send. If you're working something nasty, like a fatal car accident, you're going to have, I don't know, 4 to 6, maybe up to 8 people there to help with all the stuff. And you don't have enough manpower to send all those people home. So
yeah. Matt says, guys, my wife hated how I talked and acted. She always said, stop acting like you're in jail. You got to play both sides of the street. I had a lot of juice in that jail.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, coming home from that too. Remember we were talking about that last week, with actual COs and stuff like that coming home to it and all that. How do you leave it at the door? I
mean,
and you must have a great wife though, man. Because with she stayed with you with the addiction, coming home still not saying that you're coming home. I don't know how you are when you come home now. I'm sure that you're a lot better than when you were going through your addiction. But the fact though that she stayed with you through it all and everything. Same with Kevin when I had him on and stuff like that. You guys definitely found some good ones. That's rare.
It is. It is rare, man. Yeah, I'm fortunate for sure. But I mean, I still come home sometimes and it ain't good. You know what I mean? I had a really shitty week this week, and I came home last night and I was just in a pissy fucking mood. But I mean, I try to keep that in mind. But when you have a bad day, you have a bad day, man. So
yeah,
a lot of times now, if it's a real bad day or something, I'll try to send a text saying I had a really bad day or a really fucked up day or this happened or that happened. And, they're also, my kids are older. So it's not like right in your face when you walk through the door,
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids are shit. They're 15 and 19. They don't want to have nothing to do with me at this point. So, yeah, it's not all the little kid stuff, but when she's home with the kids all day and I get the door, a lot of times it's it's your turn, but you just don't have, you got to decompress before you dive into that to get in the right frame of mind, or you're going to pop off.
Yeah. And then this here, though, the clip that I'm going to show is this one was before, though. They would what was there? Was this the same day? I'll show it quick.
Before the paycheck came.
Well, if you don't do any more than buck, yeah, we're all hurting before us.
20. You're the man, Doug. And it still leaves me with 41.
Yeah. Give yourself a couple drinks.
You owe me, bitch.
Hey, whatever, man. You know, we look out for each other.
Hey, you know what? You can give me cash in a couple of them 20s for some ones, and you'll hook me up for the night.
Tonight you buy beer, I'll tip.
All right.
Yeah.
What was that all about, though? About casting 20 for the ones?
That was the first time I met him. Actually, that was
Really?
the same day. That was him. He was just giving me the money.
First day.
Yeah.
Wow.
First, let me see. It might have been the second. That was the second time I met him, I think. Yeah, I met him. Second time he came with the money, and that was the source, the informant that did the introduction was the other voice. But he's saying he was saying that I owed him because I made money. I just told him if he bought beer, I would tip he wanted to go to like a strip club or something.
No, yeah, that's why I said all ones. I was like, when did he go up to the strip club door? But yeah, Matt, in those days, like Keith called it though, choir though, practice. You definitely though just left it though at back. You go to the bar afterwards, and that's how you'd handle it. But then he'd probably come home buzzed up. It's not good, this and that. You know what I mean? If the wife pops off on you, that's what the most fascinating part I think is to me is, turning that off. Like, flipping that switch. And I don't want to get personal, man, with your marriage or anything like that, but I'm sure, though, that you did have conversations like, listen, like, when I come home from this type of stuff, like, it's not like you want to be like that, act like that, but I mean, the stuff that you're going through every day, I mean, it's, God, man, like from the stuff that you told me alone, that's probably not even the tip of the iceberg of all the stuff, though, that you've seen. So...
But if you put alcohol or pills on the end of a bad day, it's just gonna make it 10 times worse, man.
Yeah.
Because with me it was 50-50, man. Half the times that I would get shit faced, I was in a great mood and was having a blast, and the other 50% I was the devil. So really never telling which one you were going to get when I started boozing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I remember you told me, though, that you used to like drive by the house and then, but that was like after the pills, right? And then the booze got real bad.
I mean, yeah, it was both. Yeah, it was a lot. Some of the times, like a lot of times I didn't know what to do. A lot of times I would grab beer and just sit at the park about a mile from my house and just stare at the water and just get wasted. But yeah,
the
man.
department's good now, though. Like people could speak up now.
Yeah, it's good. This is just a fun fact about today, man. So I'm working a charity event tomorrow.
Okay.
It's called Heroes. If anybody wants to look it up, heroes.org. It pays for college education for firefighters and law enforcement that died in line of duty. It pays for their kids to go to college in the DC area. But we have a golf tournament. I've been working it for years, but we always poured shots and sell them at the station I work. So, man, I went to a liquor store today, Loomis. I felt like I was copping dope, dude. I was looking over my shoulder. I was like, man, I thought I was freaking scoring on the corner, but yeah, man, it's
called heroes.org.
Yeah, that's it right there, man.
No, I just typed it in, but what I'm going to do is I see it right here. I'm just grabbing the link for it, and then I'm going to put it in the actual comments so then people could check it out, though.
Yeah.
Link for it, and then I'm going to put it in the actual comments so that.
Yeah, Matt, you're right, dude. Matt, I used to go out because I used to.
There it is. Sorry, Keith.
It's all right.
That's the real link, though, folks. Go ahead, Keith.
Matt said getting off work at 11 and coming home at 5 a.m. is not good for your marriage. Yeah, man, it was not good. It was definitely not good. But the weird part of this, Matt, is when I got into my full-blown addiction, I didn't go out anymore, man. I didn't want to go out with the guys from work anymore.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want them to see how fucked up I got. So I would literally just get shit-faced alone in my house, full isolation in the basement, and just get hammered because I didn't want anybody else to see like how bad I got. So I stopped going to happy hour. I stopped going to choir practice. I stopped going out on the weekends because I would just sit in my house and just get shit faced by myself. It was awful.
And start isolating and all that type of stuff. Though, absolutely, Keith. The UK police are way behind in all protective measures. They only have taser and a truncheon. The government don't waste to spend extra money in protecting our boys and girls in blue. That blew my mind, man. When you told me that the only thing that the UK police have are billy clubs, mace, and tasers. Though I guess but they do not. They can't have guns.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And they have to, someone has a gun, they have to actually dispatch, right?
Someone. Yeah, they got to call they have special units with guns that are driving around each area, I think. But yeah, man, I mean, the UK, I don't want to talk shit about the UK, but it's getting pretty crazy. Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can literally get a criminal charge on your speech online now, right? I think if you talk a certain way or talk about a certain topic or something in the UK, now they will fucking charge you with a criminal charge. That's crazy to me.
Freedom of speech gone. Yeah, absolutely. I heard that too. That's how it is out there. And, London out. Well, a lot of the crimes out there, are stabbings, knives, and stuff like that. What just blows my mind is like if you go somewhere and someone has a gun, what do you do? Like you just say, "Oh, hold on, I got to dispatch for like it's, man, I wouldn't want to be, like would you be a cop? Well, would you? Depend. I mean, because they don't, you can't have guns out there, but of course the criminals still get them. Yeah. Wow, it just blows my mind, man. That like when you told me that, I'm like, what? They're running around like Dog the Bounty Hunter. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much a pepper ball gun.
Remember Dog, folks? I'm the Dog Bounty Hunter. That's because he was a felon, but he had to use the mace and stuff like that. But that's insane, man. That is absolutely insane. And guys, no bullshit. Friday nights was dubbed Friday Night Vikes for Vicodin. Back then, you were always hurt and never took off. See, I didn't have Friday Night Vicodin. I had every night Vicodin or every night, after the Vikes would stop working, then I had to go to the perks and then the perk 10s, and then you just move up, and it's just a vicious cycle. But to start off, though, I know what you're saying, though, Matt. I used to do that when I relapsed. I used to be like, I'm just going to do it on Sundays for Game of Thrones. And, that worked out great.
Yeah, I remember when I first was on them, it was, I'm just going to do this at night. And then it went from the night to right before I got off work to I have to have it right when I wake up.
Yeah.
That was a crazy road, but yeah, we'll have to have Matt on here one day, man.
I'd love to have Matt on. Absolutely. And Matt, you're more than welcome to come on anytime. And your buddy knows coming on. I just want to make an announcement too. And next week, Miss Angela Pizzano, she will be on. She is the author of the book, Welcome to the Family, My Life as a Mob Daughter. So Angela.
Oh, that's going to be awesome, dude.
Yeah, she's coming on though. I've been interviewing her though next week. And why can't I think of his name? Adam.
Yeah.
And Adam as well. So, and then obviously I have to edit them up and all that though. But and I have part 2 of Larry Rolla, folks, come out. If you didn't see that episode, all you mob enthusiasts, check out the Larry Rolla episode. It's fantastic. And part 2 is coming out with him and John Gotti. So stay tuned out to that. So yeah, Matt, definitely 100%. That's what happens at the end, Keith. I've been there, brother.
Yep.
Keith and Loomis, and I'm in UK. I can't support in any way. What do you mean? What do you mean, support the channel? Yeah, just hit the like button. That's all.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. That's what I tell everyone. I tell everyone, don't worry about donations, any of that. Hit the like button and leave a comment afterwards and share. It's the best way. And you, by the way, Tracy, and everyone, just giving your time is enough. You guys, you ladies and guys could be doing anything, and you're giving your time to watch right now means the world. So thank you. But if you hit the like button, I'm not stopping you. So, all right. So Keith, how long are you sober now?
July 18th will be 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, not July 21st.
July 21st, then will be 8 years. Thanksgiving, though, will be 4, though, for me. So, and like, we always say time, whatever, because I like to tell people that, in AA, they always say if you slip up, then you lose all those days beforehand. Not if you get right back up on the horse and you keep moving, because then what happens? People feel all guilty. Oh, I had all that time and I messed up, and then they keep doing it. No, you slip, get back up, get on the horse.
Especially when I see young kids in that come into the rooms and stuff, and they're like, they talk about I relapsed, and I was like, all right, man, like what happened or whatever, and they say they had 2 drinks or they hit a joint or something like that. I'm like, dude, I said, as long as you're not doing that shit that'll kill you. I mean, I want you to stop everything. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but you're not doing the stuff that's going to kill you, and you keep coming back to like, meetings and stuff. It'll take care of itself. And you see some of those people that there was this one kid that quit the hard stuff but couldn't quit weed, and I don't know, maybe about a year in, he was like, you know what, I'm done with this weed shit too. So then he stopped that. And now he's doing great. But yeah, you don't lose the knowledge that you gain.
No. And I always say too, if you
I'm not going to completely lose 7 years of recovery if I.
No. And also too, though, like if like that person, like with the weed or whatever, let's just say now if that's affecting his life where he can't be working and he's doing this and that, that's a different though type of story. And we're not telling people, oh, pick another drug, this or that. But I mean, if you're on the real hard shit and you're taking some medical marijuana to help out and stuff like that, and it's helping you, don't feel fucking discouraged from people to saying this or that, because you do get those AA Nazis that, you know what I mean, that are just they'll tell you straight up, oh, you lost all that time, fuck that. But don't listen to that bullshit. Get right back up on the fucking horse. Get back up on the horse. And Susan said, congratulations, Keith. That is awesome. And brother, you never lose your clean time. It was yours. Exactly. But just don't keep it going. So you're totally done with UC work now?
Oh yeah, man. It was, now that I'm out of the Fed system and back on like working the dogs. I mean, I'm in a uniform every day and stuff, so it wouldn't be very smart to do it. But one of the ones, I got to send you these videos, dude. They're fucking hilarious. I don't know if we talked about it or not. Did we talk about like the reverse hookers?
Well, we talked about how good of a system they run.
Right? I tell you what, man, that was the most uncomfortable I would rather sell freaking rocket launchers to Al Qaeda than ever than ever try to pick up a hooker. Because it was way out of my element, man. I've got like 6 cameras on me, man, and these girls come in, and I'm just like, oh my god. So, yeah, it was just, and they're pros, man. Like some of them walked right in and said,
"Oh yeah."
They said, this is funny. I normally don't go here, but who gives a shit? They normally say, I'm not going to talk about a price with you. I'll be like, how much? And they're like, we're not going to discuss a price unless you get naked and lay in the bed. And I'm like, so now I'm trying to like, I'm not going to get naked so you can steal my wallet or just, come up with an excuse or whatever. So a couple of them walked out, man. And I got 6 cameras on me and a SWAT team in the next room. So finally my supervisor comes in and he's like, Shibley, just get naked and lay in the bed. What's the big deal, man? He goes, I would do it. I said, you are a very large black man. Of course you would, but I'm a little And I was like, I am not putting that on camera for a class 1 misdemeanor to be shown in court, man. They said, you're just going to have to, because all you do is write them a ticket and let them go. I mean, it's not even like you're in custody arresting them. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You're out of your mind. But it was funny, man.
I'd rather sell rocket launchers to Al Qaeda. So they're telling to get buck ass naked.
One supervisor did. I was like, I'm not doing it, man. If you want to switch roles, we can switch roles. I'll stay in the other room and bust through the door, but it's not happening.
Are they going after the hooker, or are they going after who's controlling the hookers?
A little both. So like you had people outside of the hotel, and a lot of times they get dropped off by a John or whatever. So when they would get busted, you'd have your outside team go to the car. But I mean, a lot of them, a few of the ones that got locked up, you know, they usually all have something on them, some dope or something. But it's also it's depressing, man. I remember this one girl came in, and it was, remember when Backpage was big? We got them off Backpage.
Yeah.
So, dude, this girl had to be like 19, 20, and you could just tell she was strung out and it was just like, what do you? So, I mean, it does have its purpose, because hopefully it probably didn't, but hopefully it, you know, was a wake up call to like that young girl that was probably going to live a very hard life if she didn't get her shit straight. But it was depressing to see some of the younger,
a lot of runaways and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Man, yeah, that's got to be tough, you know, especially you being a parent to yourself, and you just see that, and their parents are probably, you know, they run away, and that's all they could do for survival. And you ever see the movie Traffic?
Yeah.
That was a, you know,
you have some of these parents that are fucking, that know their kids are doing it, and they bring money home, so they don't even. We had like a 15-year-old show up in the Marriott parking lot in nothing but her underwear in the middle of the day one time, and so we get there, whatever, and we're talking to her, and she's basically saying she's been sex trafficked for 3 and 4 years, and she was only 15 at the time. And we found her mom, and her mom came in and told her not to tell us, give us any information unless we paid her X amount of money. And then we never heard from her again. So,
wow.
Some of these parents are, I guess.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
They're probably usually on, you know, they're probably addicts too. And, you know,
How about the one lady though who came back to the evidence room? They wanted their crack.
What's that?
Remember you were telling about the crack that they called up and they wanted it back?
Oh yeah, the lady in the suitcase. Yeah.
They called the police, and you know they have the crack, and they're like, "Listen, that's ours. We need that. We're coming back for it."
Well, it was. I guess she was. Because it was just a bag that was left, and they called the dog. So when the dog came up, you know, we take them at the airport. We'll take those bags to lost and found, but we got to inventory it first, because if it's got expensive jewelry or money in it, we don't want them to say that we took it or whatever. So as soon as I opened it up, it was crack and scales, and so I guess she was banking that we didn't look in her bag. But
but I mean,
if you have a bag full of fentanyl and crack, you should probably just not call the cops and say, "Do you have my bag?"
Yeah. And immediately, I mean, you know, she obviously got cuffed up and arrested, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's wow. I seen that on cops before too. Like, you know, like they're fighting, like, yeah, she ripped me off for this and all that. I just like, holy shit.
You give a lady for crack, and then they don't come back with your money, so they call the police. We had that when I was in Richmond, man. We had that. It was crazy. It was right off Chamberlain Avenue in the middle of, you know, the hood.
Yeah. And
this guy calls up and says that he got robbed, and we go there, and it's a white dude in a business suit and a Lexus. And I get there, I'm like, you don't belong here, man. I'm like, what are you doing here? And he said he stopped. He was on his way home, and he stopped to get gas, and he got robbed. But this gas station was out of the way. I mean, you had to work to get to this gas station. It's not one of those gas stations that you pull off the main road and it's there. So, so I pat him down, man. I find a crack pipe on him, and so he was some bigwig business guy, and I remember he finally told me that he gave somebody $50 to go buy crack, and I was like, "How'd you get on crack?" And he explained that he got hooked on pills, and then he did this, and then he started. So I was like, "Okay." I said, "Well, cut your losses and get out of here," because I didn't really have anything on him, just paraphernalia. I was like, "Cut your losses and get out of here." And dude, he started like, "You're scared of the drug." I was like, "Okay, all right. I mean, if you want to go down this road, sir, we can do it." So he went and showed me who he gave the money to. So now I know who the drug dealers in the neighborhood are. And all was said and done, obviously the drug dealers aren't going to say that they did it. So it was all said and done. And he was like, so what are you going to do? I was like, I'm not going to do anything, man. He goes, I demand you at least write a report. And I said, are you sure about that? He goes, I was like, okay. I said, but just know that these reports are public knowledge if with any FOIA requests, and I'm going to put exactly what you told me in there. And then he's like, no. I was like, no, yeah, you demanded I do a report, man. But people do stupid shit, man.
Yeah, I mean that's quite insane. So like what you're doing now with the canine stuff, and you have your dog, you get to bring him home, right? It's your dog.
Yeah.
So you're not like doing investigations now or anything like that. It's just more you're just on patrol now.
Yep, I just do explosives detection.
I mean, you've been involved though in the past though with some serious shit though, and then now, but do you like where you're at now?
No. I mean, yes, I do. I love working with dogs is therapeutic as shit, man. I love it. I miss investigating things. But one of the stipulations when I went to rehab was that they were going to move me out of the FBI. Jen fought for me to stay, and they agreed to let me stay one more year, and then I had to leave. So I went there and I did my last year investigating, and then I had to leave. And it was a tough decision because the canine part opened up. I was always interested in working with the dogs, but because I could have gone back to the PD as a regular detective and not the FBI task force. But it was like I don't know, man. I just felt like if that was going to happen, if I was going to change a little bit, I needed to maybe just change everything. So
you do. Yeah.
But I mean, it was a good move at the time. Like I said, I play with the dog all day. I play hide and go seek bombs with the dog all day and get paid for it. But I do miss the investigative part of putting the puzzle pieces together to get to the finish line. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Frankie, what's going on? Thanks for being here, my friend. Frankie from Mob Kings and its Infamous Rats. He's got a great channel on Facebook. Check that out. Thanks for being here, Frank. But man, because you could still, like back when you did the Navy Yard shooting, when you were like, first in the sea with all that, like you were just at that time, were you just patrol or no? You were doing with the FBI.
I was with the FBI then.
Okay, that's right. I remember because you said that they were like, you had to go through a little bit of shit or whatever.
Yeah, so our squad was like the domestic terrorism squad was like the response squad. So if anything big happened in the DC, Northern Virginia area, we would go to it and just determine whether it was federal or local. So when our boss said go, we went, and I guess they just didn't anticipate us running in there. They wanted us to just go kind of see what was going on and get them information. But,
Now, Keith, this clip that I'm about to show where he's talking to you and you're showing him the trigger, where I see that it's daylight. Where is this at? So, you're hidden very well, right? Like in the woods somewhere.
We're not.
What's wrong with this guy? Where he is at?
So where you see him get arrested.
Yeah.
We're in that part. We're just sitting in the parking lot in the mini.
Oh, so this is him right before the arrest.
Mm-hmm. I was giving it back to him and I was explaining to him. So when you see that, when I talk about the fully, because fully autos are illegal. But we put a switch in where you could move it to fully auto, but it only said safety and like fire. So I was explaining to him that because he wanted to be able to shoot one round at a time. So if he went to a range, they wouldn't know it was an illegal gun.
Yeah.
So we made it so he could shoot one round or fully auto. And I was just explaining to him how it worked when I gave it back to him. And as soon as that conversation's over and he shut the case is when he walked back to his truck. But he gave me 2 full magazines of AK ammo with the gun. And I don't know if it's in that tape or not. It might be in the longer one, but he's like, "You shot all my ammo." And I was like, "Yeah, man, sorry, I had to test it." I said, "But I'll get you."
Because it's in this one, but remember, I was only able to make 2 clips of it because we got him. We'll show it next week. But I just want to show the second half though of it. This is the actual footage right before he gets arrested.
Yeah, it's a little tight.
Yeah, just pull the trigger, bitch.
I did, man. There you go. There it is. So then, see it right there, the hammer?
Mm-hmm.
Every time it comes back, the trigger's down, it just keeps coming back.
Do we have to keep fucking doing that, man? We're in a fucking parking lot.
Semi? Good.
But one of them here with full,
Right.
pull the trigger, and it's like the voltage or the hammer just riding the. How's the fire? I thought there was supposed to be a retarder in there.
No, when you're holding the trigger down, it's going to come forward. I mean, it's fully auto.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're holding this trigger down, it's just going to when the trigger's down, that thing's just going to, every time this extracts around, when the trigger's still down, the hammer's going to come forward. That's what gives it the rapid.
But it looks like the holding the trigger down, the hammer is just riding the bolt.
I mean, that's where it engages the round right there.
Right. Right.
Trust me, brother. It's working like it should.
Okay.
I promise
Okay.
you. I tested it out myself.
But all the parts are fucking new.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to go home when you get there and
lube it.
And lube the fuck out of it, man.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
But there's your notch.
What do you want me to do?
grind that thing off.
Oh, is that what you wanted off?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can do that.
And then this is right after the conversation, obviously. And what blows my mind is I asked you, like, what do you guys hit it, like in a well-hidden area? This looks like it's in like a fucking Walmart parking lot. Broad daylight.
It was a TGI Fridays, actually.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, unbelievable. Like, and he just look what he's holding. I mean, yeah, you could say that's a keyboard. I mean, my keyboard case looks like that. But I don't mean to laugh, but I mean the stupidity in a way on him.
Well,
You know-
see, Loomis, in Virginia, you can walk around with that all day long, and it's not illegal as long as it's not fully automatic.
Oh, gotcha. So did you have to make that legitimately fully auto?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
For it to actually fit the federal code, it had to be. We had to give him a working, fully automatic gun back, which is why I took all the bullets out that he gave me.
Okay.
Because so he always parked in handicap parking. He got in some accident or something. So I knew he would park in handicap parking. So I parked way over here on purpose. In order to give the takedown team time to get to him before he got to his truck, because I didn't know if he had any more bullets in his truck or not. And with a fully auto rifle, you can't let him get there in case, he decides to not want to go to jail that day. But another funny story about the takedown day was, you see kind of a couple SWAT guys come out and around when they go to arrest him. Apparently, I saw it on the video, but apparently as soon as like that was going down, man, these two little old ladies come out of the TGI Fridays. I don't think you see them on this one. They come out and they're like, "What's going on?" And this guy in the SWAT uniform goes, I think he just yells, "Danger, run for your life." And these two old ladies are hauling ass down the side of the parking lot. It was,
right here. Yeah. But I mean, like during this scene right here.
Yeah. So it was like to the top right, these old ladies are just taking off down. I'm like, what? So I'm getting arrested. I see these two old ladies in like a fucking Olympic sprint. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But
So when they arrested you, Keith, like they throw you in the back of the car, everything took you in, like for booking, all
I
that.
tell you what, man, that sucked because it was I'm not going to say the person's name, but it was a newer FBI agent that probably hasn't had their adrenaline to this level before.
Yeah.
And I have a real gun pointed at my head. And I was just looking at their finger, and I was like, I had my hands up. I said, "Get your fucking finger away from that trigger, dude." Like it was nervous a little bit because I was like, one little nervous twitch, and it's an accidental whatever. But So that person that had me at gunpoint, they thought it'd be funny to rip my little ass out of the window, so they did that. I got ripped out of the window, put in handcuffs, put in the back of a car. And no, I didn't get booked or anything. Once he was gone, I was like,
They just took the cuffs off you. I didn't know like if you saw him back at the station or anything.
Yeah, so it was. They were like, no, they just said, I think he might have asked, and they said that I was being interviewed somewhere else or something like this. But the funny thing is until right before court, he thought that he thought that the informant was the one that was the cop. He said there was no way it was. I think my name was Billy back then. He said there's no way Billy. It was Billy. He was like, it was definitely the other guy. And then I rolled into court.
Yeah, I could tell through the tapes. Remember I told you? And I'm not putting down the other guy or nothing, but I told you because I listened to all of them. Like, and you could tell, like, you're spot on. The other guy kind of seemed Russian.
Yeah.
Not Russian, meaning he's Russian from Russia, Putin. I'm saying like rushing, like, you know what I mean? Where you were just calm, like, you know what I mean? The other guy's like, no, it's good, man. It's good. Like, you know, and then like I even told you, I was like, Keith, man, the guy, I mean, not if he's watching, I apologize, but I don't think he's too good of a UC.
I don't think he's watching these. I don't even know where that dude is.
No, I know. I'm just saying though, because I saw them for myself, and you know, we'll get them all out there eventually. But you could tell though that you were the one that he trusted the most. Now, was it you and the other guy like who had to meet him at the same time, or was it just you initially?
No. So the initial one was he went with me twice. He went on the initial one, and then when we gave the gun back. But we didn't use him again after that.
Thanks, Tracy.
Yeah,
we just want to say goodnight to Tracy, though. She's in New York.
Good night, Tracy. You're awesome. But we didn't use that UC. We didn't use that informant after that again.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, that's right. So he wasn't even like he was an informant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that a while ago. Okay. See, it's kind of funny though that the informant though, you acted better though than him. Well, just not all informants are necessarily criminal. They are criminal, but maybe like, you know, they're just trying to buy drugs or something like that and get away with it. Or I don't know. You don't have to get into detail on how he got involved or whatever, but unless you want to. Like, I mean, I don't think it was a drug buy for something else.
Honestly, I don't recall because he was used by my partner before I got there on a couple things. But you know, a lot of times they get into being drama queens themselves, man, and it's like dating a girl you don't like. You know what I mean? They're calling you all the time. They're asking for more money. They think they did this when they did. You know, it's like it's time we break up. You know what I mean?
No, I hear that, and also too. Well, I saw some FBI tapes, obviously in Boston, though, when I was really in like trying to investigate the Bulger case and all that, like where John Connolly, who was the one that got corrupt, he's the one giving the seminar, and he's like, you got to be very careful though, because you could end up like liking a lot of these informants, and you know.
Oh man, people get in trouble all the time, man. There are people in the police and Fed system that fall in love with their informants, cheat on their wives with their informants. Friggin', we had one girl. There's a documentary on it. I think it's on which station is it on? What's the one that starts with a P? Paramount Plus. I think it's on Paramount Plus.
There you go. Yeah.
But there was a girl that was doing ISIS stuff online, and she fell in love with this dude, left her husband, went to fucking Syria to marry this guy.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's a whole special on it, and then they ended up going over there and getting her and locking her up. But yeah, it happens. It definitely happens for sure.
There's a lot of women though from NATO here in the country though that try to find though a guy though to marry him, just so that they can come here legally, just so they can get a card and stuff like that. That happens a lot.
Yep,
without a doubt. And I heard that a bunch of times, and I'm like, you know, and they, you know, some people get offered a lot of money for it or this and that though, but then no, you're married to my paper, and then I want to bring up hookers if you don't mind. Me personally, you know, I remember like, you know, we would go on business trips a while ago, but whether it was in Florida or this or that, and all the guys would want to get a hooker, and then they would be like, Loomis, you know, you're up, and I'd be like, I can't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as crazy and wild as I was, like back in the day, like I wasn't the hotel guy to get a hooker. Like, I need the girl to actually like want me, not a paid transaction though, where she's just like, okay, now I'm doing this. Hook. I'm just saying, me personally. I mean, listen, I'm not putting any hookers down, but me personally, I just, you know, I can't rock with the hookers. Like, you know what I mean? Don't do it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've never even entertained it, man. But
Thanks,
Yeah.
Susan. Thank
I-
you. But yeah, but you know what? No, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you're like this and like you don't have that chemistry. Like, let's say like you think, oh, she's hot or whatever. And like I know you have a wife. This is all just making this.
You're good. You're fine.
And I'm saying no, and you're thinking, oh yeah, this or that though, but you could just tell that it's a business transaction. I'm just saying though, that little loom downstairs though isn't going to rise. Like I need what do you call it, to know that like the person like wants you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if it's a business transaction, you know what I mean? I'm just saying I'm not going to be getting rock hard over that. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm just being straight up honest. I know. Listen, I know people who sniffed coke off hookers' asses, the whole nine. It just wasn't for me. Like I'd rather a girl that actually want you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So when I was with Richmond, I did this. I think I did this twice, but the Vice Squad would have new officers because people didn't know us. Just get in cars and go try to pick the hookers up. This is a whole. This isn't like a Backpage hooker. This is like City of Richmond crackhead hooker, and most of them were she-men. So you knew that the car was wired, right? So what we would do is we would try to say the craziest thing to make like the whole takedown team laugh. Like I asked one of them one time how much to dress up in a clown suit and give me a blowjob, and then it's just crazy. We would ask them to do just the craziest shit, just for the comedy factor of it.
No, I get it.
You would hear some crazy things being asked, man. It was funny as shit.
It's like the role play factor with your normal girl, but you're just trying with a hooker. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? Back in the day, I had a shirt that said coach. I was everything. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding around. But I'm saying though, it's a business transaction. You're basically just paying them to leave. And but I know a lot of people. I mean, it's a booming business. I mean, people like to.
I had one man, Chamberlain and Hammond in Richmond, was the corner where all the she-men prostitutes were. And I remember there was this one that would just, gosh, she was, first of all, she could kick my ass because he was like, I don't know, 6'2", 6'3", but huge. But, and I understand that against that. Just don't prostitute yourself. Yeah. But I remember.
I know. That's not what I'm laughing at.
I arrested him for something. And we get to court, and it was a black female judge, and she was a hardcore judge, man. And I'm looking through my tickets because a guy in a business suit comes up, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this? I don't remember locking this dude up." So I'm looking through my stuff. I finally found the ticket where it says Chamberlain and Hammond, and I've never laughed in court like that. I just started fucking laughing, and the judge was like, because everybody in Richmond knows, man, even the judges. She was like, "Officer," I was like, "My apologies, Your Honor." She goes, "What is so funny?" I said, he was not dressed like that the night I wrote this ticket. And she looks down and she goes, "Chamberlain and Hammond, you're guilty." Boom. Didn't ask him nothing. It was funny, man.
And I just want to say for the record, the only reason why I was giggling, I have nothing against, hey, people want to be whatever they want. That's their business, whatever. I'm just saying though, I know someone that got one time and went there when they went down there.
And didn't know.
Yeah. And then but then they kicked the living.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Most of the ones like Chamberlain and Hammond, you could tell because usually they were cracked out. Usually they had like a beard about as long as mine.
Well, you could check the Adam's apple too and all that.
But it was anything that has to do with prostitution, I was always uncomfortable with. I just never.
Let me ask you this: if you got buck naked and little Keith is laying there, the third little Keith leg down there, buck naked, they got to show that in court, right?
If they want to contest it, that's what I'm saying.
How do you stand there though and be like and keep a straight face though when they're in their show and shit like that?
It was all right. I don't even care if people from work are listening. So it was also back in the day when I was still drinking and stuff. So when the lieutenant came up to me and goes, "Hey, what do you need for tonight?" I said, "I need at least a 12-pack." And so he bought me a 12-pack, man, because you can drink when you're doing UC stuff. But he was like, "Okay, well, when the prostitute gets there, just swish some in your mouth and spit it out so you smell like it. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I drank that whole freaking thing. But even
What did you get 12-pack for? So she looked good, or
that too.
really?
But just so they had another detective try to. They had another guy try to do this, I guess, a month before, and they're not stupid, man. They walked in the room. They always say they have to go to the bathroom first, and that's the scary part because you don't know if they're going to come out of the bathroom with a little gun in their purse. But, they go in the bathroom, and the first guy that did this hadn't done UC stuff really, and the girl came out right away and goes, "I have to leave," and she left. And they're like, they're like, we can't figure out why they're all leaving. And I'm like, okay, so I wasn't there for this one. So I'm talking to them. I'm like, what did you do in the bathroom? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, did you throw some underwear on the floor? Did you run the shower? Did you wet a towel? Do you have bathroom items in there? Do you have deodorant? Do you have toothpaste? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, she knew right away going in. It was a fully clean bathroom that has never been touched. And the room's immaculate. The first thing I did when I went there was I ran in the shower. I wet a towel, threw my underwear on the floor. I put deodorant up, put toothpaste up. I messed the bed up. I made the bed back. I put beer cans around the room. There was leftover pizza that, you know what I mean? You got to make it look like you've actually stayed at some point. But
that's what I mean, Keith, though. Like the second that me and just, I interviewed a lot of people before. And the second that we met backstage, it was like, you know what I mean? Like, I clicked it like this, and I'm not a criminal or anything like that or whatever, but I'm also not a cop or whatever. And I did know some crimes in my life. But my point is, though, like, you just had that natural, I could tell, like, how you would be good, though, with UC work.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just,
you have those street smarts.
It's from growing up, like we talked about on an episode or so ago, growing up outside from my childhood, in the city of Richmond. It's like, you get to know people, you get to talk to people. And then I could always easily I could fit in with the kids that were doing bad stuff in the neighborhood. I could fit in with the sports jocks. I could just kind of fit in wherever I went.
Yeah, that's how you are. Like I could tell, like, we just, because usually I'll go in, I'll meet someone backstage, we'll talk, and like this happened, me and you were just like boom, 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 boom. And just, and I was like, I thought about it. I was like, yeah, he could definitely do UC work.
Hopefully we'll have Jen on here one day.
Yeah.
But that's also what made me a good addict, dude. Nobody knew. She'll tell you. And I saw that lady every day. She'll tell you she never smelt it. She never had any inclination that I was, on opiates. She said she didn't have a clue. And a lot of it was just because I could portray a certain person wherever I was at, And the only place I couldn't do it was home. And that's where the wheels fell off.
Yep, and you talk about her a lot in this episode, Fighting Crimes and Demons. There she is right there in the middle with Keith Shibley. That episode's already up. If you guys check the video section, great episode. And Keith also, goes around, and does talks and this and that. And he, what's the foundation here, Keith? What's that called?
Frontline Healing Foundation, man. It's an amazing, amazing charity. What Frontline Healing does is if let's say it's for military and first responders, military, firefighters, EMTs, cops. If you have an addiction, and let's say I did get fired, let's say I got DUI, I got fired, I no longer have insurance. Frontline Healing Foundation will 100% cover a rehab for you. Usually if you're choosing, but there's a couple. Warrior's Heart is a huge one that they deal with. There's one in Virginia, one in Texas. I went down to that place 2 Sundays ago to open up a bonfire meeting down there. 35 guys, most military, but a couple cops down there. Dude, it was crazy, man. It was like it's on like 160 acres. They got freaking horses, and like the rehab I went to was like all like group stuff, individual stuff, art therapy, music therapy. This place has that stuff, but it also has it's got a whole barn for woodwork. And they teach they just try to teach you another hobby to get into. They've got a mechanic shed where if you want to learn how to be a mechanic, it's It's a great rehab, man. Frontline Healing, you support military and first responders. It's a newer charity, so they're still trying to get up and running.
Now, is that you have to have private insurance or something like that, right?
No. So Frontline Healing Foundation is simply a charity that if you lose your insurance because you got fired, Frontline Healing Foundation will 100% cover you going to a rehab.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Because I had a real good job with the American Addiction Center. And this is right before the pandemic. And someone would call me and ask for help, but they didn't have private insurance. So I would tell them, okay, contact the Wilkes-Barre Wildwood Valley Drug and Alcohol. And then they would call me up and be like, don't ever tell them that, this or that. And I'm the type of guy that's like, I don't care. Yeah. Like I'm like, fuck you, this or that. Like I missed making $15 an hour in Philly, being hands-on with the guys doing this and that and marketing for this fucking place. But you know what I mean? No, and like, you know, they found that out. But then if they're like, listen, we're not selling cars here, man. They're human beings. You know what I'm saying? And we'd have these group meetings, like call them up, make sure you get that money. I'm like, listen, the guy just got out. You know, give him some time, this or that. But it's just, I understand that they have to make money, man. But like, I just wasn't comfortable though with the whole, if it was a car, that's different. But human beings, come on.
I mean, they have some of those places in Florida that I haven't witnessed it myself, but I heard about it. They'll pay you to relapse and go back to rehab so they can make money.
Yeah, I worked for one that closed down, and I showed up in Philly. It was called Center City Recovery. I show up there, and there's all tape blocked off at our manager and the district. She's not in there. The offices, just the counselors, me and the clients, and the FBI's there. And boom, like, you know, it closed down immediately because so many of them do like the insurance fraud, and that's called patient broker and what you're talking about. I was also another one. I'm not really comfortable talking about it because he's one of my best friends, and he's gone now. He passed away, but he did the open one up, and he did that when I was a mess. And they're like, is there like $1,200? No, $600 a month. So was there $1,200 in your bank account? Yeah. Okay. They give you the cash, and then they take it out of the bank account. And then, you know, they were just taking in everyone. But I think he didn't think at first that he was doing anything illegal. He thought he found a loophole in it because the insurance was $600 a month. But you can't just be taking people out the street, paying them $600 and then or $1,200. Actually, it was it was $1,800 because it was 3 months. So, and then you can't do that. I guess I guess there's a loophole in that. And then we were pissing in cups every day. You're not supposed to do that because you get kickbacks from insurance from when you take a piss in the cup. And we were peeing every fucking day.
Yeah, we were too. Every other day, I think we were. But which is weird. And I pissed hot once for meth while I was there. I'm like, I've never done meth in my life. They're like, well, take another one. And then I took another one. They're like, oh, you're fine. I'm like, that's weird, dude.
That happened to me. I think it was NyQuil or something that I had or whatever. I don't know what it was, but they're like, man, meth was the only thing that I never tried at the time. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but there's just different ingredients, though. Maybe an ingredient of it though popped in, but those, you got to watch though, and especially with the ones that are right on site. The ones that go to the lab, obviously, though, are better.
Yeah, they were all the on-site bullshit ones. Yeah.
But insurance, man, like when you piss in a cup, like pee, and you get kickbacks from piss, you get all that type of shit, and you know, the place closed down. In 1 year, I think it was $160 million in insurance fraud, and my good buddy. I'm not going to mention his name. God bless him. But he had a beach house in Florida, and then they found him there gone, and which sucks, you know. But I still can't believe he's gone. But he's very smart, very business astute, and all that. And I was always wondering, like, they opened this place up and immediately started doing that. Like, why? Like, okay, if you're going to do it, wait till you're a little bit in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But the greed, I guess, though, must have took over, and yeah, I mean, the place was booked. We had like 6 mansions we lived in. You should have seen these fucking houses, man. Yeah, I was in there with a guy who was a fucking he not to go into prison. He had a DUI or whatever, so he just went in there, and he used to work with Scarfo and them in Atlantic City, and he did 20 years in prison, all that. He passed away now. He was my roommate. They let him have a cell phone, man. He had this huge room with all these colognes. It was like almost Goodfellas. His wife would fucking bring like the best olive oil and steaks and stuff like that. Well, my father used to come to visit me. And I remember one time his name was Frankie. He wasn't there. My dad was like, fuck, like, because he just wanted to see Frankie. But he'd call up my pop. He'd be like, Clem, I'll duke you a 50 if you stop and grab these pork loins and sausages and this and that. It was unbelievable, man. And the place we lived in, a guy got murdered by the mob. It was in, oh my God, what the hell? You could even look it up on, not Hillsborough County. I'm thinking of that because that's where I lived in Florida by Tampa. But Hatfield. That's where it was. It was a house in Hatfield, and they had like a Batman thing where you move the bookcase, and there was a gun closet. That's where they tied the guy up and blew his brains out. But I was doing podcast in there, like, in that little fucking room with my other buddy, like doing like C4 fucking little ads and this and that. But yeah, we were like staying tennis court, mansions, horse stables, the whole fucking nine. But I'm going to tell everyone, I ended up getting clean in a state-run fucking facility. Because you could go into the best rehab in the world. And I know that I'm not trying to put down what you're saying. That's great what they do, but it's when you want to get clean. It's not really in place,
100%. I went to one where it was 3 mansions in a cul-de-sac too. And shit, man, it was probably maybe a year after I got out of there. I don't know. It was something with fraud. The lady started living in one of the mansions with her family. But I don't know, it was all weird. But that rehab doesn't even exist anymore. I don't know. Something. Yeah, I know the feds shut them down for something. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, pretty much. So I worked for one that was called Foundations in York. That one's gone. That closed down in like a few weeks after. The other one that I stayed in, I was by myself. That closed. Pretty much everyone that was like private insurance though was shady, and like the Florida scheme that you hear of. That's what, they were all doing that. And if you're in rehab and you're pissing in a cup every day, then there's a problem, because they're only supposed to piss you like once a week, or if there's a problem.
Every other day. Yeah, I think it was like every other day or something like that. But
did you go to, you don't have to mention the name though, or even answers. Did you go to a state one or did you go to a private one?
It was private.
But yeah.
It was private. And I've gone to the state run ones by my house. Taking H&I in there sometimes. I used to do it before COVID, and those are a little rougher, I'd say.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Even the people who are in jail that go to the one that we are in called Choices, they were like, jail is way better than this fucking place. But I'm in this one place, right, already for 14 days, and then he's like, you got to go to detox. I already detoxed I at this time it was booze, Suboxone, stuff like that. I got that all out of my system. They sent me to this one by New York City, Keith. I had on like this white robe, walking around like a king. They were doing chocolate. I went right back on the subs and the Librium, immediately relapsed in there because I knew I was staying here for the long haul. So I was like, fuck it. I had my own queen size bed, living like a king, dude, like a fucking king. And that wasn't good. So then I went back and whatever, but it's all when you want to get clean.
I went to a state-run detox because I couldn't find a detox near me. So I went to one in middle of Shitfield, New Jersey. Dude, it was rough in there. There's probably like 40, there's like 40 people there. And I remember one time I had enough, dude. There was this old guy, and he was coming off alcohol. I mean, he must have been in his 60s, bro. And he couldn't open. He was going like this. He couldn't open his orange juice for breakfast. And these other churches like making fun of him or something. And I don't know what it was that day, but I got up with my drink and I threw it at him. And I was just like, how about you just open the fucking orange juice for me instead of fucking laughing at the old dude? But that one was crazy. We had my second or third day there, we had a girl overdose in there. I guess she snuck some shit in. Mm-hmm. There's one kid I still talk to him every once in a while on social media, but he was the one because I was scared shitless, sitting in the waiting room waiting to get processed. And he came in and, he was like, you look scared. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm scared, man. He's like, I got you, dude. Don't worry about it. So I kind of hung out with him like a bunch of the time. He's a good kid, dude. But it was like, he's like, this is like my 4th or 5th time in here, man. You'll be all right.
Yeah, your first time ever going in, and especially
Yeah.
like you don't know who you're going to run into and all that type of
Yeah.
stuff. You know, state runs. The one that I went to, like we were in the basement. It was so small. We all just stay in the same area. I mean, there's fights every day. Fucking, it was just fucking insane. That's I smirked when you mentioned an old man because me and my buddy Danny are sitting down where we go out to have a cigarette. And the door's locked. You have to wait for the worker to get the key tag, and we're just sitting there. And this old guy's he's just bitching for meds and bitching for Ben, I'm talking like a half hour. And they're not going to give them to him. And Danny just said to him, listen, man, you have to wait an hour. The guy just came right over. Boom, punched him in the head. Danny got right up. They just started like bam, bam, bam. Like it just, and then you always hear people screaming down the other end of the hall. People are getting like those state run detoxes, man, are no joke, man.
Yeah, dude, we were in it was an old hospital. We were in the third floor of an old hospital, and we were only allowed to go outside and smoke once an hour, I think. They'd let us out for 10 or 15 minutes, but you couldn't even hold on to your own cigarettes. You had to give all the cigarettes, you had to write your name on it and give it to them. Yeah. And they would come out and they would give you one. You could smoke one in that hour, and then you had to go back in. And I was like, this shit is crazy. But it was crazy. You had a bunch. The thing that always sticks in my mind there was, so first it was, how sometimes you're going in there, you're getting off opiates. They want you to try to do it without Suboxone and shit.
Yeah.
So I remember my second day there, it was the end of my second day, and I was just dying. I finally went to him. I was like, you guys got to give me something like this is. And I remember one of the nurses yelling at me. She goes, it's been 2 days. You're doing fine. I'm like, I'm not doing fine. And so I ended up getting one, but I would sit there and I'd talk to the ladies, and they had, at the nurse's station, they had butterflies all on the walls, and they had names on the butterflies. And so I went in July. It was everybody that they know of that had come to that detox and passed away that year. And it was probably 40 or 50 fucking butterflies up there, dude. It was crazy. I remember just seeing them all. I'm like, what is that? I thought it was thank yous, where they're like, no, that's everybody that's been here this year and is now deceased. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. It was sobering. It really was.
And you went though to see now what they do is they try to get you on the sub. Now it's different. Those are the days when they were like, no, try not to. But now, boom's ching, they're always like, no, get on this, and they want you to get on it afterwards and all that type of stuff. And for your outpatient care and all that. I don't know if it's because of just the ka-ching factor or the factor that when a lot of people do get out because then fentanyl started hitting hard and people were just dropping and whatever. But now they encourage it these days. Because I worked for one not even a year and a half ago, and they encouraged it. And it is what it is. But I know when I went back in the time that you went, it was completely different. They would try to say, hey, tough it out. I remember because I went in there wrecked, and I'm like, I got this. A day and a half later, I'm like, give me some, totally out of my mind. Give me some lib and some sub and this and that, though. But it's different from the old days now, and you got to be careful because that's good, though. Man, yours is if you run out of actual insurance, the charity, they run you right in.
Yeah,
that seems like a good spot, though, man.
But I tell you what, man, talking about UC work, when I went in there, it was straight UC persona, man. It was, I went right back to one of my fake people I was. And I stuck with that story the whole time I was there, dude, because there was no way in hell I was telling those people I was the police because it might not have been good,
Yeah, but I wouldn't know. I met a lot of them from New York, firefighters, stuff like that, from the union and stuff like that, and just regular union workers too, though. And it's rehab though. At the end of the day, though, I don't, but how people click up in there too at times, and
but I didn't know what it was. So I was, I was scared shitless, and I was
it's your first time.
When I got out, when I left the 30-day rehab, I actually signed up for the IOP that the place had because I was scared I was going to use. And when I got to IOP, that's when I met the federal judges and the freaking attorneys, and I was like, oh, okay. So
Yeah, that's when it really hit home that this shit could grab anybody and everybody.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm not going to say any names, but I have a buddy that was out of his mind on dope, and he was still killing it though in basketball. And he was like, I remember driving on the highway. I saw his name and this and that, and almost like, did you ever hear about that story? I forget the guy's name, Chris something. He has a documentary. He was on the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
And he used to run outside in his jersey to get oxys and stuff like that. And he actually spoke up at Clearbrook. What the hell's his name? Chris something. Fantastic. There's a great documentary out with him.
There's a lot of those pro guys, man. I mean, there's a few out there. There's that one documentary about that one NFL star. I forget his name. But he got injured. He got hooked on him so bad that he was going into open houses and just to try to find some. And he ended up doing, because that's technically a burglary. He ended up doing, I don't know, 8-10 years for burglary because he got caught 2 or 3 times doing that shit.
The guy I was talking about from Boston, but his name is the most prominent case of a Boston Celtic player drug addiction is Chris Herron. He struggled with substance abuse, particularly with Oxycontin, Vicodin, and to document everything he says. It's just he hits home like where he's like, I couldn't even look at myself, brush my teeth in the mirror, like I always had to like look down and stuff, and just the way he explains everything. And now he's doing good. He's speaking and doing all that type of stuff. But this guy would literally go right outside the garden, pick up his stuff, get it, and then go on the court and play and do fantastic. And
if I had those resources, I would be dead. I mean,
that's what I always thought. If I had so much money, I would be. But I'm not gonna lie. I did have like thousands and thousands in my addiction though, like during COVID. And you do run through it though, like nothing. I remember like the guy's like, I'm not coming out. It's 2 a.m. I'm like, I'll give you an extra 100 just to come out. Boom, you're coming out. Like you just throw the money away, like you don't care. But I don't know with those resources, and especially if you're traveling on the road constantly, whether you're a stand-up comic, a rock star, all those guys, like
and all those famous people, it's not like they got to get it them fucking selves either.
No, they have someone.
They'll be like, hey, here's $200, go meet this guy. He's going to give you something. And half the time, the people probably don't even know what it is. So the risk of you getting jammed up is almost zero. So yeah, shit. If I was like, I would have.
Well, a lot of, and I know from, in the music business, what they do is whatever club that you're going to or whatever, they talk to the manager and they say they ask each member, like, what do they want? Like, hey, this guy wants some blow, this guy wants some bit, and they have it right there waiting for you. They do it with stand-up comics too, as well. And that's just crazy. Like, like it's how do you stop? I remember, even if you're not even in a big band, like beer's free. People always want to give you the what do you call lines? With me, the blow just went with the booze. You know what I'm saying? That just kept me awake. I didn't do coke. Like I never woke up and was like, oh my God, I need cocaine. It was more like once I started feeling that buzz, I was like, okay, let's rock and roll. But yeah, man, it's
I'm glad I never tried that in college. I came close once, but because the way my brain works, man, they're like, oh, you got to try this. It'll be great. You'll love it. And I'm like, I know I will. So I probably shouldn't do it. And I'm lucky I didn't, because it probably would have been a bad road then. But it's funny, man. So one of my vices now, like I've told you, is I like to play poker. You know what I mean? I like playing Texas Hold'em. It's not. Some people are like, oh, you're trading one addiction for another. I'm like, dude.
Who the fuck who said that to you? I don't want to know his name, but fuck you.
Some 12-step Nazis. But
what are you playing? $25 a hand, $50, $100 a hand?
We play 1-3 no limit, so I'll buy in for a couple $100. And if I lose it, I go home. And if I win more, I cash out. You know what I mean?
Nothing. No, that's gonna like put you out though.
No, nothing compared to what I was doing.
People like to be perfect.
It's funny because I was sitting at a table last week, and so one of my eardrums is blown from when I was little, when I almost drowned in the pool. So you'll see me like sniff a lot. You know what I mean? This one guy next to me last week goes, God damn, man. He goes, are you going to share that shit or what? And because right when I went like this, he was like, you going to share that shit or what? And I looked at him and I said, man, I said, it's not that, dude. I got a blown eardrum. The guy to my left was like, I got the hookup if you guys, and I'm just sitting there like, what world am I in at this point? You're just opening a casino and everybody's just like, here's blood. But I go right back to like, UC days where I want to just be like, I want to set up like I want to buy some weight from them and just, I was like, man, I'm not even working. I don't give a shit. If I'm not working now, I don't give a shit, man. Unless you're going to murder somebody or rape somebody, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. But it was just funny because I'm sitting there next to this guy just talking to him the whole time. He's like, dude, I got the hookup for coke if you want it. And I'm just like, I'm good, buddy.
Yeah, I remember the first time we were talking, you were sniffing a lot, and it crossed my mind. I'm like, nah, he's not.
They pop. When I talk, my ears just pop.
Yeah, no, it was like 1 second though. I was like, nah, he's not. Well, it's not even sniffs. Like you could tell from the crackled voice. I listen whenever I like needed something bad. I went to Turkey Hill. I could tell someone's high across the street, but I go to Turkey Hill. If the guy's eyes were like pinballed and the whole nine, I'd be like, listen, pal. And then immediately I would get into me. He'd be like, all right, blah, blah, blah. And then I would always fucking know, like always know. Even when I worked at Center City Recovery, because they hired a lot of people that weren't addicts. But I was like, they're like, go check on the women's house. I go up there. They're all nodding out, this and that. The guy's like, no, there's something going around. The worker. I'm like, I had to, like, because people are trying to get sober. I'm like, listen, they need to get tested. And I think out of like 62 tests, 62 of them, they failed that I mentioned. Like, because I just know, especially when it comes to opiates and shit like that. I know.
Yeah. It's like, dude, it's 20 degrees outside. You're sweating your balls off. And you have a short sleeve too. And your eyes are pinned. You're definitely on dope.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sad though, because when I lived in Philly, like, you see, a lot of people that like die too, because they go to Kensington, they come back, they do it. You try to CPR them and bring them back to life. And like, you see like the fear in their eyes right before they go. It sucks. That happened when I lived in 17th and Snyder in Philly at a sober home. And it was, that was bad.
I'm glad I never had to do the sober home thing, man. I just did it because I didn't have to pay nothing. I had a guy out there, and I just
wanted to move to Philly. If
I lived with 5, 6, 7 other addicts, I think my chances would be less. Everybody I know that went to them, not everybody, a majority of them usually ended up, getting talked into, because you get like 3 addicts together, and it's easy for one guy to talk the other 2 guys into fucking up.
And how many are really going to stay sober? Even when you're in 30 people are in rehab together, there's only like 2 or 3 that might make it. That's even a lot. Like you just said with the butterflies, and it's very sad, but I mean, that's the truth. That's the truth.
The 10 guys that were in the house with me when I was there, I don't think any of them are sober, and I think most of them are dead now.
Damn.
Yeah. Most of them.
The coke put me to sleep and dope kept me up. Yes, you know what? I had a buddy though that used to always do. I'm not going to say his name. I would get coke and that would put him to sleep. It was the opposite, and the dope would keep him up though. I guess that has to do with your,
The doctor always told one of the doctors told me that because opiates woke me up, dude. I was energized with that shit. They said if opiates give you energy and wakes you up, that's when you really should worry, because that's when your brain, gets like my wife, when she would have them, she would be knocked out for hours, and she didn't like the feeling. But yeah, man, those things woke me up, and I was cooking and cleaning and fucking
doing everything, loving life. I remember that. Oh, do you want to go here? Sure. No, another day I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Until I got my shit. Yeah. All the time. You know what I mean? And the biggest fear would for me, if I didn't have anything, and even if I felt good, was don't fall asleep. Like I remember like living like that, like afraid to fall asleep, because when you wake up, you're fucking done. Yeah. And going out there, like, oh God, man, it's just great though to be able to wake up and live now.
Right? It's crazy, man. I used to, like you said, I would hate waking up, dude. I would be so scared of waking up, and now it's like, I mean, I still don't enjoy waking up because I got to go to work and shit sometimes, but it's, waking up, the thought of, and that's what I keep in my head to help me stay sober, is I don't want to forget how that felt. Waking up either completely hungover or in opiate withdrawals, man. I want to remember exactly how that shit felt. Because I don't want to, that was awful.
Yeah. Oh, it was the worst. I remember once I would sneeze 3 times in a row. I was like, fuck, here it comes.
Mine was
Here,
4.
and then you're yawning.
Bam, 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 bam. That was so bad. You're
Wow,
driving
yeah.
down the road, and it's just,
and then your lower back and your legs and it's fucking terrible. Fuck that shit, dude.
Then you're sweating, then you're freezing, then you're sweating, then you're freezing. Oh God.
Oh, it's terrible. And then people are like, "Oh, it only just sweat it out for 3 days." But listen, an hour is seriously 1 minute feels like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Mine took a lot longer than 3 days, man. Everybody's like, you get to day 4, you're out of the woods. I remember being at day 4, and I'm like, I am not out of the woods. This is still really bad.
No, it's longer. That's the intensity of it. But what happens though is your brain, even though you're done, like you're still antsy, like because you got to figure it because you're so used to ripping and running, then you got to put that energy somewhere else. You know what I mean? Just because a lot of people think they could just get the oil. I know people that just go in there because they're like, man, my tall. I'm like, man, it's good to see you. I'm not going to say any names, but I'm like, you're going to get clean. He's like, nah. I'm like, why are you here? He's like, my tolerance is real high. I just want to get an oil change and like, that's serious.
That's what I met a lot of oil changers in New Jersey when I went. I didn't know what it was. I was like, what are you talking about? I was talking to one of the nurses or somebody that worked there, and a lot of these people would know these people by name because they would come in, once every 2 or 3 months for a week, and it was state run, so they'd get fed, they'd get showered. They were getting Suboxone, so they didn't feel like absolute ass, and then they would just go right back out. Yeah, that's crazy.
Thing though that was the worst though with fentanyl though was that you actually had to go through a sickness though for 48 hours before taking a sub, because if you took a Suboxone you go through precipitated withdrawal, which is horrendous. That's withdrawal times fucking whatever. Like you take a sub
for what?
Okay, so if you still have fentanyl in your system and you take a Suboxone too soon, you go right into preset, and it's called pre, and it's like a lava coming out of you. It's terrible. You have to wait a certain amount of time before you can actually get. That's why now usually in the rehabs they start you like with 2 milligrams of like Subutex and then another 2 milligrams. But I went in there and I was like, no, I'm good. And then boom. And then by the end of the night they had to take me to the hospital. I was puking constantly. It was I had those bags that with the circle that you're puking, rushed me to the hospital. My stomach was. That shit, man, that shit's no joke, man. Like, it's just, I never thought in a million years I'd get off of that. That is so, I remember I even told Kevin, I said, if my guns are at the house one time, I would have blown my head off in a second, just the way I felt. I had Tourette's. You get Tourette's. Like, I remember I was sitting on the couch, I'm going, ah! I'm like, and you can't even help it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? I'm just,
it's only funny because it's fucking true.
No, I know. I could laugh at it now. I mean, you got to laugh. You can't take everything too serious, though. But I mean, I would. And I'm like, this is fucking insane. And it was just, it was bad, man. But
the rest of
anyone out there hurting, reach out because you could definitely get through it.
And once you do, man, like Loomis said, shit, waking up not feeling like ass is priceless at this point.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Like we've had a couple guys at work. We had a guy go. He's going to rehab, and it's just like he's going to maybe save his job or whatever. But it's he ain't, man. It sucks because he ain't ready, and you try to talk him into it, but he was at the point where he's like it's not really a problem. It's just it was just a bad day, and it's like, all right, man. But
see, they told me I got that too, and I went on an SSRI, and I'm not on it though anymore. But I always think back in the old days, like Vikings and all that stuff, though. Like, I mean, they had ADHD? They didn't take anything, right? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not getting all Scientology on you though, but like, they really started though, like, I don't know, putting people on pills at 5 years old, like Ritalin and stuff like that, and all that.
Yes.
But I definitely have it though, because my mind though is just like. When I talk, it gets all like I had to speak one time. And when I was speaking, I fucking started from, I'm born 5/13, 1981. And then I'm 28. And then I'm like, I can't keep it together. You know what I mean? We were talking about that, how like when we speak, like, it just goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And I forget. My short-term memory's gone. I could never find my keys. Little shit like that. Always. But now I can remember long stuff. And the weird thing with me is I'll remember like what people even had on clothing wise, but short-term memory, Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Yeah.
Matt wrote about his trip. Yeah.
I took 300 Roxy 30s to Hawaii with the fam for 9 days. I was calling my boy the night before we left. I was almost empty. I had 100 in my bar. Oh, I had 100 in my barbecue as soon as I landed. I can never go back to that.
Matt,
Wow.
I'll tell you what. So the trip I took right before I went to rehab was I was in Europe, and then I went to party with my sister in Beirut, Lebanon. And I ran out probably my second day in Lebanon, and I had 5 to go. And oh my God, dude, I was literally, I took a walk to see the town, and I'm literally arguing with a pharmacist in Beirut to give me, because I went in there and made some bullshit story up. And I think he gave me some Tylenol with codeine in it. I was like, this is fucking shit. I need this. And yeah, man, I almost got locked up in fucking Beirut, which would have not have been a great place to go. But yeah, man, you'd have to plan vacations. You'd have to plan holidays. You'd have to plan this. You'd have to plan that. It's miserable, man.
Well, let me do. What I used to do is with the Suboxone to get on a plane, and the Listerine strips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just get the strips and the Listerine strips and put them right in there.
Yeah, it was bad.
No, but I'm saying that's good thinking, though.
Oh yeah, no, that's great thinking. Dude, I'll tell you what, man. Some addicts are some innovative motherfuckers, man.
Oh,
we can come up. We can come up with some good shit, and that's what they always say. Like in recovery, like if you put forth the fortitude that you did when you were in addiction, you'll be fine when you get out.
Well, that's why, like, I'm always making reels and this and that, or like, working on the Buffalino project and this, like, because you do have to find like a purpose. Because if I'm sitting around with no purpose or anything like that, I'm fucked. You know what I mean? So that's what I do now. I promised myself I'm going to produce more content than consume more content. And that's what I do. And now it's to the point where even when I relax, one of my favorite movies is on Amazon. It's called 25th Hour. It's with Edward Norton. It was the first movie that was made after 9/11. It's incredible. It's a Spike Lee movie. I don't think I've seen it. Oh, it's incredible.
25th Hour?
25th Hour. Watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Edward Norton, Barry Pepper, Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's a Spike Lee movie, but that was the first movie that was made after 9/11. And it's not about 9/11, but it's about a guy like, he's a drug dealer and he has to go to prisons, but he's like, it's his last day hanging out with everyone before he has to go and do a 7-year bit. You know what I mean? But it's fucking fantastic. So the other night I was all fired up. I'm like, yes, because it's hard for me to find something like, because I've seen so much shit, and I started watching it, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, I get an idea and boom, I just go right into creating something, which is good though, which is good.
Yeah. I dove into going back to the gym like crazy, man. It gives me, it hits those,
endorphins, man.
Endorphins that I need. So that, and honestly, man, like when I go play cards, it ain't even about the money. Like
camaraderie, having fun.
Well, it's that, and like even if I go to like the casino and play with a bunch of jokers I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's that competitive adrenaline rush of I've got jack shit, but I'm gonna make you fucking fold it. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, so the two things that get me out of my head right now that I think about none of my problems is when I go to the gym and put some headphones on and playing cards and stuff, man. It's like my chill time.
Keith, when I put on certain, like I'll put on like this jungle music, like I'm Rambo. Like when I'm like running, like I'm not in Planet Fitness. I see the trees and I'm like I get into it. I get like, some people are like,
the problem is sometimes a song will come in that sometimes a certain song will take me to a dark spot, man. And I'm like, oh, shit.
I have a playlist though. Like,
I'm cheap. I just listen to Pandora with the commercials.
No, I have YouTube Premium without the commercials, and I just do playlist. And because when you have Premium, you can turn your phone off, and like I'll be on that fucking show. I'll be like boom, 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 and like literally like towards the end, like I'm like I come back to like reality, like holy fuck, I'm in the gym, like like I forget. I just turn into like I don't know what it is, And David Goggins is always like, yeah, you got to do it without music, this and that. But music, man, gets me. I love it. Just blaring in the ears and then, just going in, doing whatever. No, now instead of the weights, because I used to be like a lot bigger, I just do the bands. Like I'd rather be like toned up and stuff like that. Your joints are going to start hurting. Well, what the hell do I got to fucking, even in the beginning, that's 405 pounds that I'm deadlifting. Why do I got to do that? I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not this or that now. You know what I mean? So
I do free weight. I do free weights, man, but I do lightweight. I do lightweight repetition.
More reps, stuff like that. Push-ups. Try to do 3. I do 100 in the morning, 100 in the afternoon, 100 at night for a month and watch. You just get like ripped up though. But yeah, cardio is the best though for that endorphin though high. And I'm like, right when you're done and you're sweating, I remember at jiu-jitsu, you're just sweating on the mat and it feels like you're high. You know what I mean? Like when you're done, you're sitting there and you're just like, and you know what spiking your insulin is?
No.
When you don't eat like you don't eat carbs or anything like that for the longest time, like not the longest time, but you go into ketosis, but then though you go and get like a strawberry shortcake or whatever, and you just it's insane. Like, my buddy Steve, he knows all that shit though. But yeah, the gym I think is a must for when you get, so I know that we're falling off track. We went into the drug aspect from the Undercover, but we're going to explain more about the Undercover because we have a lot more videos that we didn't have time to put up next week.
So, my dad also, he always told me this. First of all, I'm 5'4", so if I'm going to get in a fight, I need to be in good shape. But
double leg, Keith, double leg him.
He always told me, he said, especially as a guy, he's like, you are a billboard for yourself, man. He goes, if you take care of yourself, you are a billboard for yourself. It shows that, you give a shit, you put forth effort into what you give a shit about, stuff like that. The other thing is this, man, like, I think I might have told you this before too, but me and my partner arrested this guy. He was wanted for, I think, aggravated assault or murder or something. And it's always stuck with me. We're like, he didn't run. He didn't fight. He didn't do any of that stuff. He gave himself up. And we asked him kind of why he did that. And he said, he goes, you and your partner got your shit together. Your shoes are shined. Your uniform is straight. Your belly's not hanging over all your stuff. And you look like you got your shit together. So I knew I wouldn't win. And it was like, that always stuck in my mind too, man. And then, I'm very observant, even working now. Like you see some of these people that are, way, way overweight. And it's
I never understood that. See,
like how people treat them is bad, but not only that, it's like if I'm getting my ass tuned up, and you've got to like run to get to me, or you got my back, like, are you going to get there? You know what I mean?
Well, no, that too, and like some people, if they have like a thyroid problem, I understand that, but and I'm not speaking against anyone. Like people, they blow up, whatever. But me, for 44, I think I'm in great shape, and I'm the type that if I feel it. When I used to drink, I used to run around the block afterwards with a garbage bag on, like that's fucking crazy. Yeah, like out of my mind, insane. And because I thought if I look down, oh man, my thighs are like too fat. I don't know what it is, but I always have to like maintain though like my weight, and that's just how I am. You know what I mean? And for 44 years old, single with no kids, I mean, I'm in good shape compared to some people that I see that are, from back in the day. And I'm not putting anyone down, but. Keith, you said it best. Walking billboard, it's like how they say, make your bed. Like when you wake up, make your surrey, like your car, like how that looks, how you look. Like it's like a billboard for yourself. Mm-hmm. And when people see though that you take care of yourself and that you're in good shape, that's obviously. No, if a lot of people already made it in life and they're happy and they want to just do whatever, that's them. I'm not putting anyone down. That's them. But I'm just me. I can't.
Especially if you're in a profession where physical fitness might be the difference between you going home and you not going home. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Though, and Keith, I'm not cutting you off. I just want to thank Susan because she's leaving. She was here the whole time.
Yeah,
we're already at 2 hours. Well, Eric and Keith and Matt going to call tonight, getting ready for my vacation this weekend. Had a great time, and as always. I enjoy your podcast and stay strong, everyone. Susan, have a great time and thank you for being here. Really appreciate that and stay safe on that vacation. And my man Rafa from Canada, Keith is a real one. Yes, he is. Rafa's great people. But we just see your comments. Have a good one, Susan. Thank you. Go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
But it's like, I mean, your physical fitness, I've never understood this in law enforcement. Your physical fitness could be the difference between you going home and you not going home. So why are you not physically fit? Like, or some of these people that I'm a firearms instructor for our police department. Some of these people are like, oh, I've got to go to the range today. I hate the range. And it's like they go 2 times a year just to get the 70% qualification. And I'm like, that is your lifeline, dude. Like, how do you not give a shit about your lifeline? And I mean, I'll tell them, you're shooting at a piece of cardboard that stands still and doesn't shoot back at you. So for me, I shoot very well, not to toot my own horn, but I shoot in between 95% and 100% on a police qualification.
Yeah.
A real life situation where someone is trying to kill me and they're moving, my 95% drops down to about a 60% instantly. So your 70% is now a 30% chance. You know what I mean? I'm like, are you okay with 30% chance of going home if something really, really bad happens? And, usually the answer you get is, it's 90% of cops never even have to use their weapon. So it's like, okay, man.
Okay. Yeah. Till they get that call. And my man, Pat, congratulations though, Pat. You remember he said he was going into his PT training and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Pat, yeah. He passed and all that. My thing is, don't you think though, cops still I think it was 13 minutes and 45 seconds. He had to run, a mile and a half. And then you have to bench press half your weight or whatever, like 185 or 200. But here's my question. Okay, you do that. You pass that. You pass the written. You go to the academy. I think as a police officer, they shouldn't be allowed though to get all out of shape. They should always though be able to do that.
And it used to be like that, man. It used to be like that before woke America started all this. Everybody's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
When I first started, we had to pass a PT test once a year.
Well, listen, I'm not putting down anyone that whatever they want to do, that's fine. But that's your life, man. And if you have a partner,
the thing that bothers me is I don't care what you look like or what you do, but as far as policing itself, that is your life. But a lot of times my life or other cops' life depend on you and your ability to my life could be in your hands. And if I'm 3 blocks away and it takes you 15 minutes to run those 3 blocks, that's a lot of ass whooping I'm taking in 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess that part is the part that bothers me just a little bit.
I would understand. I completely would understand that for, being a cop and, if you have a partner that's just, because you can even see videos of cops that are out of shape, though. It takes them almost a minute to get out of the car. It's like, well, what are they going to do? How are they going to protect and serve if they can't even get out to help someone? I mean, people just run right through them. Like, that's why I'm saying those original tests, they should always be able to do that. Like, if they think that they're getting, like, if their superior officer or chief or whatever thinks they're losing it physical wise, they should be like, hey, let's get to the track and make sure that they stay on that. And because after that, there's no right, they could blow up to whatever they want, right?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. Matt said first thing they tell you in corrections is you better be able to hold on for 2 minutes till the squad gets there. That is right, Matt. And that's a long fucking 2 minutes. A 2-minute fight is a long. It is a long ass fight, man.
Very extremely long.
Especially
a street one. Jesus Christ. Yeah. 2 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I've been in a couple. Especially when I was at Richmond. I remember rolling around in a parking lot with a guy at 7-Eleven at 2 a.m. And I don't know how long it took people to get there, but a minute feels like 2 hours when you're getting tuned up by somebody a lot bigger and stronger than you sometimes. But
man, dude, that's and
I think jiu-jitsu should be mandatory.
Yeah,
I do it once a week. I try to do it more, but the defensive tactics they teach you in an academy is great and all for a very low level beginner stuff, but you don't get any more after that, man. You get, unless you elect to go to additional defensive tactics training, you don't get any more training. And a lot of these people, especially coming out now, Loomis, have never been punched in the face ever.
Yeah, different.
So
yeah.
we fight in the academy. We fight a thing called the Red Man. It's a dude in hell. I mean, it's just a whole red suit padded. So you can give it to him. And you see people get hit in the face the first time with someone with like big gloves on, and they shut down. They don't know what to do. It's the fight, flight, or freeze stuff, man. A lot of people.
And that's not even that real though, because like, you're allowed to go like a real streets, like, when you get, are you talking about like that first fight, like when you're like 7, 8 years old, that little butterfly feeling and stuff like that? Like, if no one ever got through that and punched someone in the face, that's because that does change your life. Because I remember, no man, when I was young, the first time I ever actually, because I remember my first fight, I wasn't hitting the guy as hard as I could, and I was young. But then, when you just like finally let go, something like changes in you. No, but there's people out there, Keith, though, that like that they throw up like if you snap an arm, like, or if you see an arm snap, like they can't handle it, like, you know what I mean? And that's I guess that's okay, but they should, this generation and stuff, because no one's outside, they're not communicating, they're not getting in fights. We met friends from fighting, win or lose. That's just how it was.
Yeah. I told you the other week, I think it was 6th grade, man. My buddy Tony knocked my teeth out. I'm still friends with him to this day, man. We've been friends for 45 years. I'm 47. Yeah, 45 years. We've known each other since I was 2. But yeah. You fight, and then you'd make. I mean, I've got an older brother, man, and this is funny because my dad, growing up, man, my dad was when we used to argue and stuff, and we were little. My dad, he would look at us. And this might not be the best parenting skill to have, but
I got a good one too after this. Go ahead.
Because my brother's 1 year older than me, so we were very close. And my dad would say, "You guys either hug and make up, or fight till I see someone bleeding." And we, like, when we were little, we were like, "Oh my God, we can't do that." So we would just hug and make up until we hit that age where, okay, we're gonna fight till one of us is bleeding. And we used to throw down, man. But, and then as soon as we were done throwing down, we were back to doing whatever we were doing together. But
so when we were young, Keith, we had a thing. It was more like a coaster, but it was like the size of this, right? Of this Pantera CD. And it was just like a coaster, but we called it the belt. And for years, I was never able to beat my brother. First of all, he's like one of the best athletes to ever come out of here. And he would always do this thing, like when he grabbed both my arms and how he put his chin in my back, and it would just whatever. But one time, I remember we were young. I'm laying down, and I had one of those lamps that have like 3 different lights that you could click. He came in the room. I just, boom, whipped it right out, and he went down. I got on top of him. I got that fucking belt. But, I got that belt. I mean, I cheated, but I mean, that's how it was. One time, man, one time I pushed him. He had to get stitches right in the kitchen. I pushed him, and his head hit the corner where the chimney is, and fucking boom. I ran upstairs. I remember I was like this, running upstairs, and all of a sudden, my pop's like, "What did you do? He's bleeding, blah, 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 this and that." But he would always be able to kick my ass, like back in those days. Like, it was no, but sometimes I got lucky. But we had I did get that belt. Kev, if you see this, I got that belt that one time,
My cousin, man, I forgot, man, we were probably, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, 13 age. And one of my cousins older cousins would come like babysit us so my parents could go out. I remember this specifically, man. He would go around and invite neighborhood kids over and then make me and my brother fight them. That was his entertainment. Man, my dude, I remember we were just so competitive. I remember we had like a half a ping pong table, like the ones you could fold up or whatever.
Yeah.
And me and my brother were playing, and he would fucking kick my ass every time we played ping pong, and I'd get so fucking mad, man. And I got so mad one time, I took that paddle and I slung that thing, and I wasn't thinking, man, because that thing stuck right in the drywall. I missed his head like that much. It stuck in the drywall. And yeah, boy, I took an ass whooping for that one. But
there's always those people growing up, Steve Flannery and my brother, that I just couldn't beat. Like Steve Flannery in 21 basketball, the game 21.
Yeah,
he would always beat me. And then you're strawberry. One time I whipped a basketball at his face, and I said, "He's a top," and I smashed him right in his face as hard as I could. He just goes, "You want to go again?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, because you didn't even like affect him, but I was pissed because I almost had him. There's those certain people that you couldn't beat. Nap Corey, I know you watched. Fuck you, but I could never beat him though in basketball. And there's certain like fucking people though like that though that I just couldn't never fucking beat. I was aggravated. but that's the way how we grew up, man. So we always had, I mean, everyone who was born, if you were born in 81 and before, or even like 85, 86 and before, you know, you grew up a fight, you know, but
you should have to do that, man. I mean, like the Marine Corps, I've never been a Marine, but you know, apparently, you know, they put boxing gloves on and fight each other apparently in boot camp. You should have to do that in the academy, man.
But I mean, that's good and all, but you don't know until you're really fighting someone on the street. When you know it's okay and everyone's around, but when you have someone that you don't know and you got to go, it's a different, like, that's good what you're saying to learn the skills and all that, but you got to be able to walk through though that invisible little like hesitant thing.
One of my issues in law enforcement early on was finding my off switch, man, because you know sometimes when you're fighting, it's hard to turn the off switch on.
You ever black out?
Yeah.
Not from drinking, just from rage.
Well, both.
Well, yeah, I know from drinking, but I'm saying just from rage.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I had to find my off switch quick because that's not cool, man. You know, if I'm, it's nobody needs an extra whatever, but
everything we're saying here isn't like to be like, oh, cool or whatever. It's just a fact though that the people though that are coming up now though and going into the academy and stuff and for the future, like I wonder what the world is going to be like 30, 40 years from now though, because everyone's growing up now, like on the floor. There's no one outside. The baseball diamonds that we played on, there's no sand anymore. There's grass growing over them. So that's all done. I'm not even talking fighting, even just communication skills, street smarts, stuff like that.
Dealing with people that you don't get along with. I mean, now it's like if somebody makes fun of you, you're canceled. They try to, you know, because you don't agree with something. But what was I going to say?
We'll have guests on too. We're going to have guests on that we might not agree with everything, but we can always agree to disagree. You know, like that's how I don't. A lot of my friends, we have different views on certain things, but we just agree to disagree. You know what I mean? Don't take it.
When I was back in field training, man, I had this one kid, and it's just the dude could not get it. Like he was not getting it. And this was the last time I field trained because then I was told that they don't need me anymore. But he was just doing everything wrong, and he was just very soft-spoken. He had no command presence. He, definitely never been in a fight, blah, blah. So at the end of the day, I said, look, man, this is what I want you to do. I said, I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to write a letter to your mom apologizing. And he was looking at me, he goes, apologizing for what? I said, I want you to write a letter to your mom, explain to her that you're fucking dead because you won't listen and you won't do what it takes or whatever. And he ended up quitting like a couple of days later. But I mean, that's like the point of it, because if this kid got out there, he was going to be toast.
Now we bring this up almost every time towards the end of the show. But my point is, it's almost like not desperation, but the numbers are down though for applicants, correct?
Oh, huge, yeah.
And then
you get just one of our neighboring counties was trying to get some of us to, because if you have your Virginia certification, you can kind of go in any department in Virginia, and they were saying that if you have 10 or more years experience, they'll start you out at this amount and give you a $20,000 sign-on bonus. And it's like, that's how hurting people are, man. DC police, I think right now they have for new recruits, they have a $30,000 sign-on bonus. You don't get it all at once. I think you get like 10 after the academy, 10 after your probation, and 10 after like 2 years. But
yeah, I mean, right out of the academy, 10K, boom, right in there. That's fucking. But here's my point: are they settling because they're not getting a lot of applicants? Are they settling for people? Yes. That's what's scary.
Yes, dude. The standards have dropped significantly. They had to lower the standards of just general firearms because people weren't passing them.
Yeah, that's what's scary.
Yeah.
I never talked to one. Yeah, everyone that I talked to you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Mike Zagru. And I'll be talking to Adam. And Is that all I had on the police side? Oh, Naco Nolan, who's retired now. He's good friends like with Jocko Willink, and he's all in the jiu-jitsu. He was
Cool.
yeah, he was investigator on Skid Row, and he was on Soft White Underbelly too. Fantastic guy. Everyone though that I talked to, they definitely though were capable, like to do the job and stuff like that. So I'm just, I would definitely though still talk to one though that maybe though might not be though, man, because, and we'll tell it like it is, because my point is this: they're going in and they're not only risking like their lives though, man, but your life. And now that the department is settling for just like anyone, that's scary, man. Because I mean, the guy that's watching your back is what's going to keep you alive, man.
Yeah,
that is scary.
It's
and you're seeing it now. Like, so like a lot of the young bucks coming in, like a few of them, you're like, they should not be doing this.
Yeah, man. Yes, a lot of them, and a lot of them are doing it for the wrong reason. A lot of them aren't doing it because they want to be the police. A lot of them are doing it because the economy sucks and they need health care and want a retirement and want. I mean, I've literally seen people like you get dispatched to, like, say, a drunken public that's breaking shit, right?
Yeah.
I've seen people that they were the primary officer. I've seen people go to that call and wait around the corner for someone else to show up first because they don't want to go by themselves.
Yeah.
It happens a lot, man.
Because
there are a lot of different departments.
And that's scary because then what else do you do? But they do though have to pass though, at least to the PT training though. So but that doesn't mean whatever. Yeah, they could run this and that, but I think it's a mindset. So everyone I had on, you, Kevin, Mike, Mike's a Grove, very militant, absolutely, like, he could do the job. You, very street smart, a little crazy, just being honest, and you have balls. I mean, you were the first one in the Navy Yard shooting. Like, that's just unbelievable. And because you never know till you're tested. And like Kevin, Nako, all those guys, like, like they all wanted though to be like police. It wasn't like, oh, well, this is just another gig. Let me try to get in here. You can't do that with a job like that, especially. And then, I'm not trying to. I hate though when one bad apple though ruins everything for you guys. They get in there and then they have a badge, and then they may do any of them like abuse their authority.
Yeah. I mean, you have some,
That's
I guess that's one of my pet peeves, man. It's just, you get a supervisor that hasn't done what you've done, and now they're telling you how to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then again, I've had some really great ones too that are, I had this one sergeant right when I became a detective. I don't know if he ever watches these, but Kenny, if you're listening, this guy, he wasn't go do this. He's like, come on, Keith, we got to get in this dumpster and look for evidence. And he would be the first one in the fucking dumpster digging through shit to try to find it. Like, he led by example. And you wanted to follow that guy, man. You know what I mean? I would follow that guy anywhere because he would never tell you to do something he wasn't willing to do himself that day. So you have some really good ones.
Well, yeah. And I mean, so you already, before the Navy Yard shooting, did you have other incidents though where, firearm and all that?
I mean, yeah, I got shot at in Richmond several times. So first time I actually didn't even know what the hell it was. But yeah, man, you down there, your gun was out a lot. It wasn't. It was completely opposite to Northern Virginia. But
still though, to walk in there with that madman.
I mean, dude, I tell you. So going in the Navy Yard, I think I've never been more scared in my life, dude. Because a lot of times, like when you get shot at, it's over before you even know really what the fuck happened, because it happens in a couple seconds. You're like, holy shit, I actually got shot at. But when we parked at that gate, because they had the gate shut down, we had to run 2 blocks down there. First, I had to get out of the car. I was in plain clothes, so I put my vest on. and
new boots.
New boots. And as I'm running down there, it's like you had time to think about it for a minute. You know what I mean? And that's what got you spun up. Yeah, dude, I was scared shitless, dude. I was like, this might be it, man. This might be the one.
But you went in there though, and you did know what you had to do, though. That's the difference. It's okay to be scared, but I mean, you went in. A lot of people would freeze, and not to mention though, the first thing you see is a dead body that you have to walk over.
Yeah,
and then you're looking for this guy. The cubicles are 5 foot high because it's a military type of base building. So wow. And I saw the footage of him too, and he had a shotgun, right?
He had a shotgun. It was his initial weapon, and when he killed the security guard, he ended up taking his 9mm pistol off of him. So he used the shotgun until he was all out of shotgun shells. I mean, he had pockets full, so he was shooting, reloading. And then once he was out of the shotgun shells, he was using the 9mm.
How long were you inside the building, do you think?
Oh shit, man. I don't know. It was forever. So I think
forever, or was it forever?
No, it was a long time. So because it said the call came out of 2 shooters. So after even the park police guy, the DC police officer put down the shooter, we were still looking for the other one. And then it was such a big building. There were so many people in there. The SWAT, we were all on different radio channels. The SWAT guys they started shotgun breaching doors to get through locked doors. So you just start hearing gunfire again. So now you're really thinking there's a second shooter. So you're going around to look for him. But I think the first shooter I want to say it was up close to 40 minutes before he got killed, because he just kept running up and down stairs. And I'll find this one video if I can.
I know. I seen a video of him though, where he's, you can see him in the hallway looking around. He has a shotgun though on him and stuff like that. And I forget. Oh yeah, you could just that's just up on YouTube and stuff. But I mean, everyone's running out, man, while you're running in, and man, that's balls, man. I mean, that's balls, and you never know.
After that, we went to like the camera room because we were trying to find, seeing if we could. We were in there for a couple hours. When all the SWAT teams came up, we were pretty sure there wasn't another shooter, and the SWAT teams came up basically to make sure that they searched everywhere. They evacuated everyone, and then they sent like a SWAT team on each floor to meticulously like search it or whatever. But the horrible part was, I don't know why people do. I get why people do this, but in actors, people always pull the fucking fire alarm, and it's like, it's horrible because you can't hear anything.
Yeah,
So I just remember that. Yeah, the fire alarm was going off the whole time. We were trying to get some.
No, police? Are you saying? Or are you saying the shooter?
No, it's usually a citizen that.
That gets scared and hits the alarm.
Yeah.
That is insane, though. Yeah, here's the news clip for anyone who didn't see it again.
There were countless heroes on that September morning when the Washington Navy Yard was just thrown into utter chaos.
That's when a gunman took his life as well as the lives of 12 others. Well, today, one of the first police officers to respond when the shots rang out was honored.
Corporal Keith Shibi is presented the Valor Award for his immediate response and courageous actions during the shooting rampage at the Washington Navy Yard on September
When we found
16th.
people, we would escort them out because we didn't know where the shooter was. So we didn't want to direct people out of the door when the shooter could be around the corner. So half of us would escort them out, half the team would continue, and then once they were escorted out, we would meet back up and go back in.
Multiple shots fired, multiple people down.
We didn't know if they were law enforcement shots or from the suspect at the time. They were on multiple levels as we were coming down the steps, but you could hear the shots while we were inside the building.
Can you describe the faces that you were rescuing?
Just shocked and scared. Some were calm and some were shocked and scared. It was just a mix of all emotions. I believe 77 law enforcement officers that entered the building that day, not to mention the countless people that were outside of the building. So It was an effort by the whole community and all the law enforcement partners within the district. It doesn't hit you probably until about the time you go home. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I couldn't live with myself knowing that I could do something to save lives and didn't do it. I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I could have done something and didn't do anything at all.
You should definitely be proud of that, man. I love showing that because, I mean, it just shows, though, that, a lot of people can watch that stuff on the news, but really try to get into your mindset and actually going in there and, Jesus, man. I mean, and that's just, that's just one thing, that was like popular and stuff compared to all the other stuff that you've seen and like, all that stuff. I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, it's tough. I mean, there's mafia bosses, dude, that I have transcripts of, though, that say, like, that they actually, like, respect those cops. That Paul Castellano said it, that he respects those cops, don't go, going into buildings when you guys are running out and stuff like that. Because it's fucking nuts. Like, people just see it like, oh, whatever, you know what I mean? But put yourself in that mindset. Everyone would be like, if you read the YouTube comments, oh, I would have done this and I would have jumped over the cubicle. And it's like, bro, you don't know what you're going to do until you're there.
Yeah, you don't.
Keith, I like how you said it was an effort for everyone. Like, you were very humble. Let me ask you something. You said it doesn't hit you, it's usually until you go home. How was your sleep, though, that night?
Good. I mean, that stuff really, like the big ones, man, they you kind of ride that adrenaline for a while, Yeah,
it's probably hard. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I don't know if it's lack of sleep due to the like adrenaline dump and you're still like trying to figure out what the hell happened or but like the bad stuff usually takes a little bit for it to like start creeping back in. Usually like, I don't know, a week to 10 days.
They can hit you out of nowhere. Yeah.
Then it starts creeping in a little bit.
My man Dave from Arizona. What's up, Dave? Keith, this is a little off topic. What do you think of police response to the shooting at the school in Uvalde, Texas?
That's a whole fucking episode, man. That's pathetic.
Pathetic. That's the we'll start. So pathetic. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk. I mean, that's the one where
there's so many. I'm trying to think which one. I think
that's the one where there was like 30 of them in the hallway, and they stood outside the door for like 25, 30 minutes before they went in. Is that the right one, Dave?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Looking that up real
quick. We could talk about that for a long time, man. There's actually a couple good videos of it, so we could actually.
What is it? It was a shooting in how do you spell the
Uvalde, Texas? It was an elementary school, man.
Uvalde, Texas.
Yeah, I can find it.
I got it right here.
But
and I can even show it. So just is it Uvalde?
VALUDE, yeah. David, I mean, it's hard for me to believe that there wasn't. You see a couple guys that are like, we have to go, and they're wanting to go in, and they're being told not to, man. But I don't know, man. It'd be hard. It would be hard to not just say, "Fuck you, I'm going anyway, man." Because I think there was even an officer there whose wife was in the school somewhere. But
yeah, so what I can do though.
You can Monday morning quarterback any shooting or any active shooter, but for someone not to go in there for that long of a time is crazy.
Now this here is Uvalde shooting. This is from doesn't even really say where it's from, who it's from. Just says YouTube. Doesn't have a name. Wait, subscribe. I don't know what WFAA is the name of the channel, and this is a video, I guess, of it. Let's check it out. I'll bring that up bigger. On May 24th. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Children and 2 teachers were shot. State House committee investigating the shooting. 77-minute surveillance video from the scene will be shown to those in the Obama community and then released to the public. No state law has prevented the prior release of the video to this point. After thorough editorial discussion, I decided to share the video because the public record helps us all understand what happened inside Robb Elementary School. The video has been edited for length and for consideration for the victims. All right, let's see. Oops. I was just trying to speed that up. Here it is. Why is that going big on me? There it is. Okay, so I guess now this is outside. Correct? Did you see it?
Yep.
Okay, I can't tell where's the, I guess something's in that circle there.
I think it's just the kid sneaking into the school, man. You can speed it up a little bit if you want. Go to.
Oh, yeah, it's actually there. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go right to here.
So it's 11:30.
Okay. Now, what are these kids' school kids? Like,
elementary school.
Okay, but the people they're pointing to outside, are they the shooters?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
there's just one shooter, but yeah.
Okay. So he's hanging around there for a while outside. Oops. This fucking thing, man, is so touch sensitive. Oh, shit. UFAA is.
Get me fired up.
You want me to turn it off?
No.
There's a kid that says, please don't tell. All right, good. Okay, so now they should have definitely called the police by now, correct?
I mean, yeah.
He's in that room.
So
hold on. I can see where. Okay,
here you go. Go to right there.
Yep. Oops, sorry. Thing. Apologies. It's still playing. All right. All right, cops are there. Now, Keith, are they doing that right?
I mean, yeah, I guess they're trying to find him. You're supposed to run to the. I mean, if you hear gunfire, you're supposed to go.
Yeah, they seem very hesitant. Yeah. Which I'm not knocking them because it's easier said than done. I'm just saying I didn't see him leave that room to the left. So remember you said 11. We're at 11:36 now. 11:37 pretty much. So now if he's in a room though, Keith, though, within there's children, like what like they're just are they supposed to be going right in there?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Well, now this is not.
All right, that cop.
I mean, he's actively shooting kids right now.
He said what?
That guy's actively shooting kids right now. They're
He's right now. The guy is shooting kids. And is that what they? See, it's hard to yell at stuff because I've never been put to this test. But that guy right there with the pistol with the 9mm there, he in the white. Oh, he's at. Well, they're all right. They're making it go quicker. Let's see.
I mean,
11:46, 47. Listen, look at the time.
They're not even looking for him, bro.
Look at the time. 12. And I'm not doing it. That's just a video. What is going on? What are they? So if he's actively in there shooting, you're waiting just for him to come out?
It must be like 40 minutes.
All right, so now they're like, all right, let's go. after that was 11:37, 47:57, almost a half hour later. And a fucking minute is long. Should get 10 seconds is long. UFAA is the station, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. 27, 28. 1 hour. 32, 34, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God. Look how many are there, too. They still don't have them. I don't wait. Never mind. And then this is just where it's going to end. So then I would ask some questions, obviously. Thanks for bringing this up, Dave. And the only reason why I'm not going to knock anyone is because I was never put to a test like that. But, okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that and get back to our screen. Okay, so Keith, my question.
I'm not really I don't want to knock him either, man, but you have to go.
What happened there?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Wait, I saw the shooter. He went into that room. He was shooting. How many children died?
I'm not sure. 9, maybe.
And when those guys started taking off, I mean, you would think that was probably from gunfire.
Yeah.
And when there's, see, it's hard, because I was never put to the test. You were, though. You were put to the test.
You've got to go. If someone is actively shooting children, your whole job is to go there. And even if they shoot you, at least they're not shooting children.
Yeah. But the one guy, though, when he started shooting, he was like this, and then pulls out his 9.
And then I think they said that the guy barricaded himself in a room, but I don't know. I wasn't there. But
well, how about that one though? When they were killed children, they went right in there and boom, they got her immediately.
That's what you're trained to do.
Yeah, then that was fantastic.
Because usually 9 times out of 10 in an active shooter situation, when the cop shows up, the active shooter usually stops shooting whoever, innocent people, and they either shoot themselves or they start shooting at the police. And that's what your job is.
Well, those guys right there looked very frantic to the point where if we all split up, I wouldn't trust if they saw me in a corner, boom, and they're just going to pull. And here's a quick question. This may sound stupid because cops don't usually carry no revolvers that I see. A lot of them usually carry 9s. Do they, is there always one? There has to always be one in the chamber, right? For police.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Always. Because they can't have time to do that. So you always have one in the chamber. So, but but like, remember what you were saying before, though, like when they had the gun on you, you would think, though, when they arrested you, though, that there wouldn't be a bullet, though, in the actual gun, though, when they were pointing the gun.
Yeah, you would think so. I don't know.
You know what I mean, though? But that is crazy. How long ago did that happen?
I don't know. Was it 2022, maybe? 21?
Dave Lopez says, I counted at least 3 30-round magazine changes while the shooter was in the classroom. Wow. And Dave knows shooting. Dave knows his gun.
Yeah. Daniel defense weapons are awesome. I mean, they are expensive, but a lot of these people that have been in shootings, like the one elementary school shooting in Connecticut, like mommy and daddy buy them a gun, or they take parents or something.
But you see how you noticed, like, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. But at the same time, I stopped myself because I'm like, well, I wasn't always obviously it's easy for me to be like, I'd be in there killing him in a second, blah, blah, blah. I think I would go forward there, but I always tell people you don't know till you're tested. Now you were
I'm not
tested.
saying it would be easy to make that decision, but
yeah. Well, no, I mean, I want to say like, what the fuck, blah, 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 blah. But just because I didn't, you know what I mean? I mean, come on, man.
It's not even the Navy Yard, Loomis. It's fucking children.
I know.
That is a whole different ball game than
I know.
So I don't get it. But as far as like how they get firearms, man, it's crazy. You know, the Navy Yard shooter, Aaron Alexis, he was going through a mental episode or whatever, obviously. Yeah. But he goes into a gun store and says, I want to buy an M4, assault rifle. And the guy there says, okay, well, it's like a 3 or 4 day wait while we run a background check. And then Aaron Alexis goes, what kind of gun can I buy and get today? And they said the only gun you can buy and get today without like a couple day wait is a shotgun. So that's why he decided to buy a shotgun. But that should probably be a big red flag for the gun owner. If you're coming in there to buy an assault rifle and you decide to buy a shotgun just because you get it that day, you probably shouldn't sell them a fucking gun.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And right here, which I just want to show, is a very quick though one. Hold on one. This laptop, it's one of those touch goddamn screens that it. All right, here we go. Hold on, let me just pause this bitch. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, that's why you were tested. So whatever. Listen, I'm going to say it. All those cops, one guy, and the children. Come on. I mean,
every situation is different. I'm not. That's why I don't want to say I would have definitely done this or that, because every situation is different.
Yeah,
and I don't really.
This is actual footage, Keith, of what you would. Now, this is what you were involved with.
Yeah,
this is footage, I guess, of him.
I can get you a better video, but it's got some stuff in there that probably should be shown.
There he is. Yep. So you're looking for this guy, and I'll just wait. I'll let it play. Hold on.
That's what he'd do. He'd run there, shoot somebody, go back out, run down the steps again.
That's like don't.
Welcome.
How many floors?
But yeah, I'll get you a different video.
No, there's hold on 1 second. There's one right here that I had. 1 second. Right. Oops. Here we go. All right. No, that's 47. All right. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, here we go. This one's longer. And this is from. Could you see it?
Yeah.
All right. This is from 2A News Now. Let me just blow that up. 2A News Now. And this is what you were involved with.
Today, the FBI released about 31 seconds of some video from the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard shooting. You won't see any people being shot or any shooting in the video at all, but you will see, as you can see, the car coming in is the shooter's car.
It is playing.
And I'll just do a little bit of comments over the top of it as I play it. So first part real quick is him coming in. That's his car coming in. And they said you'll see him coming up, walking through a door, and you can see a shoulder bag.
So when he rolled in like that, did he right when he got in? Did he just start popping?
And head in the back.
No, he went upstairs in the
bathroom, and then you'll see him looking indoors as he's going down the hallway.
He had a shotgun down his
and then you'll see him. He had done some shooting up on that floor. He came through, and I'm going to pause this for a second.
He was in a bathroom stall, and he took it out, loaded it up,
above. And now he's coming down. He sees them down the hallway.
So he's looking at people down there now.
So of course, he wants to get a little bit closer, but like I said,
and now he was just anyone that he saw, he was shooting, right?
Trying to get out, and him moving closer in, and then the video will end after that.
All right. Yeah, that's all they're pretty much going to show, and then it goes back to the beginning of it again. They're going to re-show it.
You can see it on FBI.gov. It's also the same video.
No, it's all the same. But anyway,
they have a YouTube channel.
So he goes into the bathroom and, gets everything ready. And, well, the rest is history, though. But and then you rolled in there. And so when you went to the door, the first thing you saw, though, was the security guard. He was already gone.
Yeah. He got hit like right here. Shotgun.
And you just wow. you put yourself in that. That's why I was saying, but the last one that Dave brought up though was like, you were obviously though tested. So I don't know, with kids and stuff. I just think that, you would have definitely though ran right in there and did what you had to do, especially
I would like to think I would.
in Texas though, you would think Texas is a tough fucking state. Like I'm surprised.
I don't know, man. That was a bad one for sure.
Damn, Pat, I hate to bring this up, but how many children died?
I'm not 100% sure. I think like there's a couple teachers and then a handful of kids. So I think it was like 9 people altogether.
Jesus.
It was like 6 or 7 kids and a couple teachers.
Wow. That is crazy, man. I didn't mean to get you like all riled up.
It's that, and that's the other fucked up part about this country, man. It's like, you have armed guards to protect the Capitol. You have armed guards to protect banks, but our kids aren't important enough for you to have an armed guard at every school. Yeah. There should be an armed guard at every school.
Well, there is. Well, so when my pop first got like sick, I was like, still trying to see if I could at least like work a little bit. And I was doing the TSA work at an elementary school, and there was always a police officer in there.
Yeah, they have school resource officers, but
they're doors locked. It's hard to, you have to have a card to get in, all that type of stuff. It's different from when we went to school. I mean, I was freaking beating. I had a beeper. I remember I sell coke in the freaking 20s to someone that didn't even go to school there. You know what I mean? It was different back in those days. But that's the other thing, man, that's so scary in this world, though. Like you get all these new like cops that are coming in now. And now we're in a world though where it's just there's like, because when Dave brought that up, I'm not afraid to admit, like, everyone thinks that they have to be a know-it-all. I don't know everything. There's so many of these shootings, it's hard to keep up. And then you're relying, though, on these new cops that are coming in, like you said, because they want the health care. How do you think they're going to act in a situation like that?
Yeah. I mean, not. It's weird, man, because, some of the people that you would say that guy is definitely not going in there and will run.
Yeah,
they'll be the first one in the door, and some of the people that you think are the biggest badasses will be like, "Okay, I'll cover out here for you." Yeah. So you really, like you said, you never really
act tough, probably, but the quiet ones though probably are the ones that
you never really know until you test.
Well, that's why I'm not gonna lie. I was about to say, you fucking pussies, get the fuck in that fucking room, but then I always stop myself and I'm like, well, Loomis, you were never tested, blah blah blah. Me, I'm speaking for you. I'm just saying, though, man, that's with children and getting. I don't know, like So, like, what happened though? Like, didn't they had to have like any disciplinary action or anything?
No, I don't think so. I know they got sued, but legally, they didn't commit a crime. Legally, it's like. There's nothing in law saying a cop has to do that. Now, they're depending on your department, their general orders and your oath to the police departments that you will go do that. So there could be like some internal, I guess, ramifications of it. But as far as legal, I know that several of them went to court and legally they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
because there's nothing in the law saying you have to go put your life.
There's nothing in the book that says when the guy starts shooting at teachers and children, you are not allowed to run away. Did you see that guy?
Yeah, not 21 killed, 19 students. Damn, sorry, David.
Oh my God.
There's nothing on the law book saying that a cop has to go do that.
No, I know, but remember the part though where that guy was running?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear because my microphone's on. I bet you that's when the shooter was shooting. That's when he started running.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people in the Navy Yard that didn't want to go in when we got there. There's a bunch of people outside that didn't want to go in.
I'm sure you didn't want to go in, but you had to. Did you freeze at all?
Not really. I don't know, man, to be honest with you.
You don't mind me asking these type of questions, right?
No, I don't give a shit.
And I want everyone to know this. Guys, me and Keith are a team. Like, he's a host and I'm a host, and we're gonna have other people on. So if anyone's like new here, this is like our series. Keith is with me every week on this. So just so you know. But
So when we got down there, the captain didn't want to let me and Shane go in because we were in plain clothes. He's worried that, we would get mistaken for the gunman or whatever. Now, Shane, my partner, that was a DC police officer, Shay, he was an SF dude in the military. So he looked right at him and goes, oh, yes, sir. And he just goes in. And then when he goes in, I mean, he's my partner, so I got to go in. I would like to think I would still go in, but if I was by myself and he told me I couldn't go in, would I have just been like, okay, I tried. I was scared shitless, dude. I don't know. But as soon as Shay went in, there was no way I wasn't going with my partner. You know what I mean?
I absolutely love, like, everyone just saw the news footage of you getting the awards, and you're always like, I don't care about that stuff. You rather, you like helping people, like what you remember you said last time, putting that one person in rehab is bigger for you than that. But you get that reward, this and that, and look how honest though you are. You could easily be like, yeah, I went in there and did this or that though, but I love the honesty. Like, you don't lie at all. Like, you don't. And like,
once he went in, there was no more questioning it, man, because my partner ran in. I'm not going to be out here, So
then you don't know if you would have, if he didn't, or it's it's hard to tell. It just happened quite fast. Like, he went in, you had his back.
So, I mean, so like in Richmond, man, I've gone in houses after murder suspects that I knew had guns and stuff like that, or armed robberies and stuff like that. And I also, I don't know, man, because like that captain was like adamant for us not to go in. So I don't know if I would have not gone in, because I would definitely, it wasn't just because I was completely scared to go in. It wasn't that. It was like, it might have been like I was scared and he's not letting me go in, so maybe I won't. But I don't know, man. I've thought about that a lot, actually. Would I have gone in if Shay didn't go in? And
you went in. You went in. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You went in. You had your partner's back.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't have to find that answer out another day.
No, and that's the thing. Like what Kevin knows, what do you call it?
But I do want to say this. Once you cross that threshold, which is why I don't understand a lot of that video I saw, once you cross the threshold of you're definitely going in and that decision's already made up mentally, I went on autopilot mode of training. Like I was ready. I mean, you're not really that scared anymore. You're scared shitless. The scary part was getting there and then going through. Once you've gone through and you're with your other people and you're doing your search and stuff, you revert right back to training, man. And it's just like game on type stuff.
I want to know the psychology though of when you're rounding a corner. Do you remember, or is it all almost like a dream?
Because of the way it was, so this is how it is. It's a slow and methodical search, right? So you're going slow and you're pieing each corner. So you're backing up and you're going around and whatever. But then once you start hearing gunfire, you're supposed to not give a shit what is here and go right to the gunfire.
So why in that video though, where they tell the one cop looked like he wanted to go and the guy's like this?
I don't know, bro. That's the thing. I don't know. If you hear active gunfire, you are supposed to go directly towards the gunfire. There's another good shooting at a school. I'll find it. We should do a whole fucking day on this, man, because we could do this forever.
We would not.
They were slowly searching. Then they heard gunfire up the stairs. They bypassed all the doors and all the classrooms, went right upstairs, and then took care of the problem. But so like we're doing a slow and methodical search for like cubicles, and then we hear gunfire. We know it's downstairs, so we skip searching all the rest of that stuff, and we go straight downstairs, and then it kind of stops, and you kind of have to do slow and methodical again, if that makes any sense to you at all.
Yeah, Dave, isn't he though? He's very humble and strong, and he's straight to the point. Like we all watched that video of you getting that award, and let's be honest, a lot of people out there would be like, "Yeah, I went in there, no hesitation, blah blah." You just said that you were scared shitless, and you were honest.
I didn't even want that fucking award because I was starting undercover stuff, another undercover case right after that, and I did not want my face on the news with a police uniform on with my family. It was not a smart thing to do, but my police department said, we don't get good press like this. You are doing it. I said, yes, sir.
Then you got to go through some stuff though with the FBI and stuff as well, right?
Yeah. Well, once my department gave me my award, there was no more disciplinary action being taken. They were actually at the ceremony going like this. Good job, Keith. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's all smoke and mirrors sometimes, man. It's all about a press release.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just gonna say straight up, man. After watching that one video and then like what you did, man, like thank God though that we have people like you that'll go through. You know what I mean? Everyone I talked to so far, I'm sure Adam's the same way, Mike same way, Nako same way, and Kevin went the same way. Like so, you don't know until you're there, and you're bringing up like you're so humble. You're like I'm not sure if my partner, but you went in though, man, and that's incredible though what you did, and he took himself out.
No, the school guy.
No, the guy, Navy Yard.
No, he was out of his shotgun rounds and he popped out from behind a cubicle and shot a DC police officer in the leg. And then when he went back behind the cubicle, there was a MPD guy who was on their SWAT team. And then I think it was a park police officer that was pretty new. They just lit up the whole fucking cubicle. And then they went around the corner and finished it. So
pray to God, Keith, you are never in that position ever again.
I know.
That's you know what? Every morning, man, when you wake up and kiss your wife and kiss your kids and this and that, like, usually if you go to a job, pretty much, okay, I'm a marketer. I got to try to see if I could, sell this or sell that or blah, blah, blah. Or if you're working at a warehouse, okay, I have this many trucks to, you know what you're doing. With you, it's like you leave the house, you don't know if you're going to battle every single day. You don't know.
The weird part about me is if something big happens and I'm not there, it pisses me off. Like as much as I don't want something bad to happen, if it does and I'm not there, I want to be there, man.
And nothing, ever made you want to retire or anything like that.
I got 4 years left and I'm planning on.
No, I mean, though, like an incident though that happened though where you were just like, I'm done. No,
not yet.
Yeah, you got that mentality, man. You got that mentality, and there's no shame on anyone though that's affected by anything though that they did. They did their job, that this and that, but it's easy to watch stuff and say, yeah, we would do this, we would do that. I'm just shocked that I saw all those cops in that hallway and you just see the one just like this running.
Yeah.
Dave just gave the body count, even if it's one kid, whatever. I don't know. That's tough, man. That's not even one. I mean, you think there'd be one. And then the one looked like he wanted to go, and the one cop's like, no.
Yeah.
No, and he was dressed
there's a few guys there that wanted to go, and they were told they can't.
Why?
I mean, if it's a barricade situation, it's a different ballpark, but it's got to be a barricade situation where no victims are at risk. So, if I chased you into a room and I know no one else is in that room, and you barricade yourself in that room, yeah, then we can back off and wait it out and call the blah blah blah. But if you don't know, if there might be innocent people in there that could be victimized, you need to fucking go.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're hearing gunshots, like when they ran, he's obviously shooting people.
Yeah.
Or
shooting at them.
Yeah.
Which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go there so they concentrate on you and not the innocent people.
Wow. That is
which is why 9 out of 10 active shooters shoot themselves as soon as police arrive. Usually what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Or death by cop. I see a lot. But yeah, that's why I asked, though, did he take himself out? Because And remember that when I'm not trying to get you riled up, but that one crazy son of a bitch with the concert was that in Vegas when he was up on top of his apartment?
Yeah.
Holy Christ! And he was just shooting into everyone.
Yeah.
You know that Dan, what's his name, the poker player?
Negreanu?
Dan, what's that?
Negreanu?
No, he's always around girls. He's rich. He's a poker player. He's there running away, and people are just getting sniped. Man, remember the sniper shooter too? Him and his kid from he was in the trunk.
We'll talk about that. That was here. That was right in.
Yeah.
That was up here right when
we used to watch that.
I was a new cop out there. We could do a whole show on shooters, man, because I've got this up here, DC sniper. It was crazy, man. We did some crazy stuff trying to find that dude.
And obviously, man, me and you though are good friends. If I'm ever stepping over the line with certain questions, because I mean you are very honest, and you're still active.
But yeah, we should do one. We should do one of those one week with some of these shootings because the DC was interesting, but I could talk to you about that forever.
Yeah, no, we could do it next week.
Yep, that's cool.
If you're good at it. So and then holy dude, every time I talk to you, 3 hours.
I know.
Wow. I like the 7 o'clock start time.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So what do you think Wednesdays is good?
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, I told you it's going to be because Thursday's towards the end of the week, though. So to play it safe, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, guys. This isn't my show. This is both of our series that's going on. So, Keith's not a guest on this. We're both, we're going to have people on as well. July 10th, we have Mike Segru coming on. I did an episode with him. He has a book out called Relentless Courage. He's out from the San Francisco Bay Area. And if you do get that book, get the audio version. It's very good. And Keith, I'm interested in having some guests with you too, talking to them. So any law enforcement out there, mobsters too, anything like, talk to a cop, anything like that, feel free to reach out. And, we'll do a nice live interview, me, Keith, and like I said, we got Mike on the 10th. What's today? Today's the 28th.
Today's the 18th.
Oh, 18th only, So Mike's not on though yet for like
3 weeks.
3 weeks today, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if that's a Wednesday. I'll call him up though to see if he could do it on Wednesday because I want to keep the same time because that's how everyone who's watching, you're not gonna this is fantastic insight, man. Like you don't hide nothing at all, man. Like you're straight up honest. And that's what I like though about everyone though that I have on though, they're straight up honest and you're still active, still doing it. And I mean after I just showed that news clip, you were like, I was scared and I don't know if I would go into it. But a lot of people wouldn't say that. A lot of people would just be like, yeah. You ever see people on certain podcasts saying, yeah, I did this, did that, blah, blah, blah. But deep down inside, though, who is a crazy motherfucker. And I mean, we need people like him. They call him, though, the sheriff or whatever. He was on that show on
Sheriff of Baghdad.
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
Sheriff of Baghdad. They called him Shrek.
Yeah. The UFC fighter what's his name? I forget the UFC fighter's name, but he was on that guy's team, and he said, "No, that guy is though, what he says he is."
There's a lot of crazy stuff about that UFC fighter, though.
The one that I'm talking about?
No, not the Shrek McPhee, but
no, the UFC fighter.
Yeah. There's some. Yeah, I don't know if I buy a lot of that stuff, man. They've had some people on his team actually come out on different shows saying half that stuff is BS, but I don't know. Anyway,
we have one from here who he was a great fighter. You ever hear of Brian Stan?
Yeah. I used to be all into that, man.
Yeah, he went to the military, all that though, tough as nails. He's from here. He's
from
here.
That's
cool. Some Scranton. Yeah, and he's been in it since it was the WEC, and he was a champion, and then he fought UFC. And it's killing my head though, man. What do you call it? I just have to say the guy's name though, because I know exactly who it is. Well, look at the first one I put up was Brian Stan. Brian Stan, born 1980, former mixed martial arts, Scranton, Pennsylvania, right here. Tim Kennedy.
Yeah.
He's the one that has all the courses and all that. And now Shrek, he's the one that said that he was on Shrek's team or whatever, and he said that that guy is just he is like he's not putting on like a pretend actor or whatever. Tim Kennedy, he as well, he kind of acts like though, like then there's no, but I don't understand. There's no shame in PTSD. I think it would help people to get out, but I don't know. Maybe some people don't get it or whatever. But why would Keith? We're honest here. What's up with Tim Kennedy?
There's a lot of stuff that's come out with Tim Kennedy that I was a big fan of that dude, and then there's a lot of stuff coming out like because he wrote that book, and a lot of people that are in with special forces with him are saying a lot of that stuff in that book is complete bullshit. Never happened. Mm-hmm. He says something like, he's got a Purple Heart for this, but they actually pulled his whole military record and put it out there where he never was even injured. It's just, I don't know, man. The guy, this is what I saw, and this is what I believe. You were a UFC fighter and you were on a special forces military team. Your resume was good enough, but a lot of stuff was, I guess, embellished in his book. And it's all, if you Google like this Tim Kennedy's and special ops or whatever, and like put like drama or blah blah, there's a bunch of stuff that comes out there. But I don't know. I was never in forces, but I just if
about Brian Stan though, he would never talk. He never talked about that stuff. He just
that's right about because that's what
that tells me he's a real one. Like Tim Kennedy's not a real one, but Brian Stan though is just like, I don't need to talk about that. Whatever this or that. What's your opinion on Jocko Null? I'm thinking, Jocko.
I heard he's a crazy motherfucker, but I didn't hear any. I heard the stuff that he talks about is true. I mean, I heard he's I listened to a lot of his like leadership stuff.
Yeah, they get sober.
But there's a lot of guys. I mean, I know a couple guys that were Delta Force, a childhood friend, and I know a guy I work with now, and I trust their opinion, and they tell me Kennedy's full of shit. So I wasn't there.
Jocko though, I believe Jocko. He's a straight shooter and right to the point. And when I said he got me sober, not that I know Jocko, I know his friend Nako, but when I was in a state rehab, I had 2 books come in, and it was a dichotomy of leadership, and I forget, there was another one. It was just black with a bunch of like quotes, and because I was 40 years old, I was like, it's time to grow up and be a man. And you ever see like the thing that's called good? What do you call it? It's like someone comes up to me, they say, Jocko, what do you call it? Where we ran out of ammunition, we don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, good, time to figure it out more, time to get down. Like every time something goes bad, he would always like say good and stuff like that. But and he's all in the jiu-jitsu and all that type of stuff. But just the way he talks, I don't know, I believe him. And I enjoy him. I enjoy watching Jocko. You know who I love, who I think is the most humble, besides you? You're very humble. But besides you is that Sean Ryan.
Yeah.
Humble guy.
I'm a big fan, dude, because he was one of the first ones, like when I got clean, to start talking about his problems with substances and mental health and this and that. And every time he has a guest on his show, it was because I always felt like a pussy that I couldn't handle it. But now you got these special, you got special forces guys and Navy SEALs and Delta guys and talking about, the same kind of issues. It just normalizes it, it normalized it a little more for me. I mean, I was already sober at the time, but it was just good to hear. And he's also big into religion, man. Like,
did you hear though that in his new spot, he actually buried Bibles in each corner of it, and they wrote scripture on everything like that. And did you see that episode with him and Dave Mustaine?
I've seen most of his episodes, and also the fact that he's not scared to call out bullshit on anybody, whether it's the government.
Here's what I love about him the most. He was on Tucker Carlson, and he goes, everyone just tries to step over everyone else. I'm sick. He's like, I don't act like I know everything. We're in a world where everyone's just trying to step over everyone.
Yeah.
And the clips though that he says, right. I just want to play the one. It's a 60-minute clip. Sean Ryan guest. No, that's why did Sean Ryan? Here it is. So check this out real quick. Let me go. Boom. And then let me just go boom. 1 second. Okay, so I got to go back to here. So this is what I was just talking about. Preset, and then we'll call it a night, buddy. All right, you see that?
Yeah.
Bibles under the foundation?
Yeah. On top of that, my whole team is really into scripture, and we're all very like-minded. And I'd mentioned before, I feel like I'm just a conduit. I live a lot of my life in paranoia at times, and so he is the only protection. So yeah, we put a Bible in every corner of the foundation. We wrote scripture on every single exterior stud in that building for protection.
You put Bibles under the foundation?
Yeah. On top of that, my whole team is really...
Yeah, no, you all into it though. But were you able to hear that?
Yeah.
Because my mic though is I just want to the one thing that he said content. All right, here. I think this is it, and then
so I raised this.
I believe so. Let's see. Could you see?
Yeah.
All right.
Question with one of the people who one of the biggest forces behind AI, and I said, well, just turn it off. Human beings run power plants, and this person said, even now we can't be sure that the machine is.
Sorry. Last thing. I just want to see if I could find this one clip. All right, Sean Ryan. Oh no, why Tucker Carlson stopped looking? Tucker and Sean Ryan on Christian wisdom. Things get heated between Tucker. The moment Sean Ryan knew he was done with the SEALs. No, that's too long. I just wanted to see. Oh wait. Sean Ryan loves ALP. Things Tucker Carlson can't live without. Why Sean Ryan is terrified of Neuralink, Navy SEAL gifts. Wait, 1 second. How did Tucker Carlson find sobriety? And then Biden diagnosed with aggressive form of prostate. Tucker Carlson's thought. Well, anyway, there's just a great clip of him. If you watch that interview, I couldn't turn. Wait, Sean Ryan tells Tucker Carlson how the CIA. Oh, that's 25 minutes late. Let me stop sharing this. If you watch that interview, he goes, he explains the world perfectly. He's like, I like to find people though that don't like have a big platform. And he's like, it just seems like everyone just tries to step over everyone. Everyone thinks that everyone has to know everything. He's like, I'm not afraid to ask people like, I don't know this or I don't know that. And that's how I am like with the crowd. And like when he explained how he got sober, he went and did that ibogaine. And he was out in like, Mexico and stuff. And then just a bunch of shit though, just like happened though, where he was, I'm not going to lie, man. The older I'm getting into stuff, though, that's happening to me. And I had an experience when I read this book called Memoir of a Suicide. And it was like exactly what I thought happened in the afterlife. And it was like that hole that we have as addicts was filled. And I started like raising and stuff. I guess you'd call that a spiritual awakening or whatever. But I felt like I was floating and stuff like that. Bottom line is, I know for a fact, some people might not be religious, but there was 100% without 100% unequivocally power greater than ourselves. 100%. 100. Pretty you want
Sean Ryan's good. Sean Ryan's awesome, dude. And the amount of people that listen to his show and probably end up getting help for substance abuses and stuff like that, especially the law enforcement military field is probably. He'll never realize how many people's lives he's changed just by getting up on his show and him admitting it and then having other people come on and admit it. So it's awesome, man. But just last thing, the ibogaine thing, because I've looked into it since I heard his show. Frontline Healing Foundation, Jordan. Her name is Jordan. She's like runs one of the CEOs or president of Frontline Healing Foundation. She's actually going to DC either the end of this month or beginning of next month to talk to Congress about bringing that shit to the United States and how many people it has helped with, their traumatic brain injury or substance abuse or whatever. So good luck to her, man. She's doing awesome work with Frontline Healing Foundation. But yeah, dude, it'd be interesting to see. If that stuff comes about, it's a moneymaker not to have it here in the U.S. So it's going to be a hard fight.
Keith, I'm telling you, you remind me of a guy like Sean Ryan, like meaning like I could tell, when people get sober and stuff though, like if they're still telling little white lies, or like you're just so honest. Like I show that news clip of you look like Mr. You weren't, hero. I'm sure you don't want to hear that word for going in there, but you're like, I was scared shitless. And if my part, like, you know what I mean? People love to hear honesty, man. And like, like Dave said, like, thank you for the humbleness and honesty because it's refreshing and that's what we need. And, that's why I'm so grateful, man, to have you team up with me on this.
Oh yeah, man. It's fun, bro. I was excited when you asked me for sure.
Because and it's like therapeutic in a way too, like to talk stuff. I'm sure, like you're on the job all week, and then every Wednesday you come and you get to talk stuff out and all that. And like I said, I never want to get you in trouble if I bring up certain things or whatever, if I ask anything too personal. But you're very honest, and I am extremely grateful though to have someone like you do this. And I just want you to know that.
Happy to be here. For sure. So
yeah,
next Wednesday will be another amazing day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Real quick, the officer with the patrol rifle stayed in the rear while the other one officer attempted to go in. I believe the officer with the patrol rifle was supposed to be the first one in. Okay, got it. You're talking about that. Yeah, we could get into all that. And he actually, hey, let me see. I DM him. He actually great. Yeah, same here. So did I. I told you that, Keith.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Tim Kennedy or Sean Ryan?
I think he's talking about this guy, Cody Alford. Cody Alford is a crazy dude, Navy SEAL. Substance abuse. I've heard a couple shows he's been on.
Sean Ryan's bringing the real light to us. He's just got done doing an interview. I forget with who, but it's about like if China takes over Taiwan, they'll be the biggest.
I listened to that.
Yeah. But I'm telling you though, the Tucker Carlson interview with Sean Ryan, he's just sitting there, and he's just so humble, man. Like just so honest, so humble. Doesn't act like he knows this or knows that. He lets his guests speak, and he's just I love that guy, man. Like he's just, and he's been through it hard, man, with the addiction and all that stuff. Yeah. He was out in like Colombia, I'm sure you heard all his story is wild. And he was on everything. And to be able to get out, and yeah, he is very, very spiritual and religious. And I think that's pretty cool, man, that they put the Bible in every corner and then they write scripture like on all the studs. I'm sure you heard that for his studio and stuff like that, so for protection and stuff. But yeah, man, great guy. What we'll do for next week, folks, we'll just talk about like school shootings and what we should have done or whatever. No, we could just talk about I don't know. We'll figure it, whatever, anything. See how it goes.
Fuck it.
I'll start doing too. I could put polls up, like where I make posts, and I'll be like, "What would you guys like to hear next week? Would you like to hear police shooting? Would you like to hear like dead honesty of going? I'll figure out the topics, and then we'll let the viewers pick. But I want anyone to know, even if you were here for a minute, thank you. But if you were here for 3 hours and 13 minutes, Keith, man, time flies with you, brother.
I know.
Thank you very much. And Keith, I meant every word though, man. Like I'm so grateful, man, to have you as a partner on the show.
Yeah, it's awesome, bud.
Dave's not the first one to say that you're a real one, man. Like you are, like you tell it like it is, and it's very refreshing. And I want everyone else out there to know, please reach out if you're interested to being a guest on a live with me and Keith. Law enforcement, ex-criminal, ex-drug addict, anyone, just feel free. I'll put the email up right here, and then we'll close it out. Keith, I can't thank you enough as always. This was awesome, guys. Screenshot that. I'll leave that right there for a bit, but if anyone wants to be a guest on the show, please, we're only booked up on the 10th. But other than that, reach out. We'll get you on and have a good talk. And you know what? Even if, like Keith said, even if it's someone that disagrees with everything, he's like, come on.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It's not fun to just agree on everything.
Yeah. We could agree to disagree. We all don't have to lick each other's taint and ball sack. We could all, we could all have a good conversation, but even if you disagree or whatever, you're welcome. The door's open. But Keith, I meant what I said. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon, man.
Yep. And this was great, my man. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next Wednesday, guys, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. Please hit that like button. Helps us out big time. And Keith, thanks, my man.
See you, buddy.
Take care. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. We are out.
Tonight on Blue Line Confessions.
Countless heroes on that September morning when the Washington Navy Yard was just thrown into utter chaos.
But that was just me screaming out because I didn't want to deal with it.
I knew I was addicted, and I tried to stop on my own. And I could. People I deal with at work, man. When I used to see that.
He was like a neo-Nazi type. Yeah. Okay.
So we're sitting in a restaurant, man, and I'm nervous. This is like my first takedown day. I got undercover. I need a couple guys to go to Hooters and have lunch and just watch my back. Half of Hooters was FBI. They're like, we'll go. You had no problem with people volunteering to go to Hooters for their work day, but it was. But you could drink, you just couldn't get messed up. So, but the takedown day, I couldn't because if all hell broke loose, I need to have a right kind of mind. So I remember he came and sat down, and I was eating an appetizer and had a sweet tea, and he was like, oh, what do you have? I was like, man, I'm not that hungry. He's like, yeah, me either. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're about to eat bologna sandwiches, man. I said, Doug, we got time. I said, just get that big burger, man. He did. He got a big burger and some I don't know, frou-frou frozen drink or something. But yeah, it was. So I got arrested too. So as he's getting arrested, as he's going back to his car with the gun, I get ripped out of my car. And I get arrested as well. But I remember, he's staring at me and I'm staring at him. And it was kind of like a guilty feeling, man. It was something I wasn't anticipating. Because he's a bad dude that needs to go to jail. He's going to kill people. And he's going to kill people based on their race. And that's absolutely horrible. I've never been one to befriend you and then fuck you over. That's just not in my DNA.
But getting a neo-Nazi off the street like that who's going to kill people. Oh, what was it, though, that really, affected your mind?